for details.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Now Aho will keep it in. Canes have the momentum. They've tilted the ice. Svechnikov with it. He'll drop it back for Aho. Up top, Svechnikov, he scores! That's the magic! We're tied at 3! Coming up on a minute left here in the second half of the double minor. It comes across Aho. Wanted to get it to Jarvis off the boards. Back for Gossesbear. Aho! Game over! Series over! Sebastian Aho wins it on the power play in overtime!
Oh, man. Chills. Goosebumps. All of it. Some people call them chill bumps. Hi, I'm Adam Gold. This is the Adam Gold Show. I am at Lenovo Center because I could not wait to get out here for Game 1 of 82 in the regular season. Victoria is back in our warm, comfy studios. It's a little chilly here.
Oh no,
it's a little chilly here.
It's warm here.
Before we get going here, were you a goosebumps or chill bumps person?
Goosebumps. Oh yeah,
goosebumps. Yeah,
100%.
Some people call them chill bumps.
Yeah, some say goosies even.
Really? I don't know how we got goose out of it.
I know. What is
do geese have this? Do geese have this issue?
Maybe. They're. I would not recommend getting close to them because they're kind of mean.
They are. They actually can be mean, and they're protected. So you do want to be careful.
Don't run them over.
They can cross the street wherever they want.
Exactly. Take their time. Who cares?
The life of a goose. The life of a goose.
I know. No care. Yep. Just being mean and walking wherever they want to.
It's another way to start the show. That's just bizarre. Man, I'm so excited because I got out here probably 9 o'clock this morning. Did a little hit with the WRAL News. My man Ken Smith and I talking about the Hurricanes. I think I went too long. I think they cut me off. I'm not even sure. I'm too excited for the start of the season.
Same.
So, all right, you're coming out here tonight, correct?
Yes, I will be there eventually. But yes, I'm coming out there. And
we have a new
hashtag. We didn't talk about it yesterday, but we have a new hashtag.
I was hoping that it wouldn't be true. I kind of like Raise Up.
Yeah, I know. We had Petey Pablo. It was great.
Yeah.
Now it's Carolina culture.
Yeah, I kind of like Raise Up. But not to mention the fact that Carolina culture takes longer to type.
It does. It's a lot of characters, and Twitter only allows so many.
Right, and if I'm going to use the hashtag at the end of, not using it at the end of every tweet, you should be able to create like an icon.
Yeah.
That all of my Hurricanes hashtags. Boom.
Yeah.
All of them. I should be able to just speak them into existence.
Right.
Whatever. Especially if I'm posting on TikTok now.
Oh, are you posting on TikTok? Look at you go.
Yeah. I think it's really just to my son's friends.
Oh.
So it's like the only people who pay attention. Like I've got like 42 followers on TikTok, and they're all 16.
Oh, there you go. Man, well, hey, you can at least teach me some of the lingo because it
there's
gets
no
weird.
lingo. There's no lingo. I have no lingo.
lingo.
I dropped I forget who we were talking about. I dropped he spit bars, and my son looked at me like, would you stop it?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? That's not new. I mean, It's been around forever.
It's not new, yeah.
Nah, And he was just like appalled
Embarrassed.
that I would say that. And I said it in carpool too.
Oh,
so
good.
it was like fresh on his
Yes.
mind when he got out of the car today.
Good for you.
Oh my gosh. All right, we should go. We're ready to go. Canes, Devils, and yes, I know New Jersey has struggled in Raleigh. I talked to John Buccigross earlier. John will join us on the show a little bit later on. Our guy Ben, the numbers guy, he texted me, "Oh man, the Devils a tough one tonight. They have like 2-11-1 or so." I'm making up numbers in Raleigh against Brind'Amour, and I'm like, none of it matters. What happened last year, the year before, none of it matters.
Yeah, it's a new season.
It just, even if it was the same season, none of it matters. It's still history. History tells us what happened. It doesn't predict the future. It's not like there are certain things like if you're talking about economics, when these things happen, these things are in place. This is what occurs. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about professional sports. Everything that happens today had nothing to do, unless we're talking about, teams got injured in the past. Everything that happens today has nothing. What happened yesterday has no bearing on today. And that's the way I've always operated about sports. So it doesn't matter to me. It should not be an indication that what's going to happen tonight, that the Hurricanes won all 3 playoff games against the Devils here, right? They won the series in 5 games, won all 3 games here, and they split up in New Jersey, right? Did I remember that correctly? I actually don't even know. Anyway, these are the top 2 presumptive teams in the Metropolitan Division. I haven't seen anybody who doesn't believe these will be the 2 best teams in the division. I think there might be an outlier who believes Washington will be similar to what they were last year, or that maybe the Rangers will somehow snap back to what they were 2 years ago when they were the best team in the Metropolitan Division. But I think these are the 2 best teams in the division. Carolina's got new players. We've got Keandre Miller on defense, who they acquired from the Rangers and gave an 8-year contract to. And I can tell you this. I spoke to him before the game. We'll hear it in the Storm Watch later on, which, by the way, starts at 6:30 tonight. Radio-only game for us. It is a nationally televised ESPN plus Hulu game. But Miller is pumped up for not only tonight, but he is really looking forward to being a Hurricane. So that's something to look forward to if you're going to be in your car or you're hanging out at a tailgate for just getting ready for the game tonight. And again, it's a 7:30 start, so we start the pregame show at 6:30. If you're interested, you can get the app, the 99.9 The Fan app. That's another way to listen to this program. You can get right to it. You'll be watching an empty, dark studio because I'm not there. But I don't know. Maybe Victoria will show up on camera
Eventually. I'm here.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
When I'm not there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you're not there, it
Good.
looks at the empty screen like, oh, there we go. So right now you can see me. It's just me in the studio. But
Perfect.
Hi.
Perfect.
Hey, Mom.
It's probably
Mom watches
probably
us.
better.
So.
Yeah. Say hi to your mom. Say hi to my mother-in-law.
Hi, Adam's mother-in-law.
So Keandre Miller's very excited. We're gonna see Nick Ehlers for the first time in a real game. We've seen him play twice, and they've been good. Ehlers, Aho, Jarvis have been very good. Have not scored, but it doesn't matter. None of those games counted. I talked to Rod about that before. We're actually going to hear from Brind'Amour in just a couple of minutes here. So we get Keandre Miller. We get Nick Ehlers. We have returning players in new places. You've got Logan Stankoven moving to center for the first time in his NHL career. He's played it before, but this is a different beast. Like tonight, how much is he going to go up against Jack Hughes or Nico Hischier? Those are 2 pretty difficult tasks if that's the way it works out. My guess is he won't see one of those two lines. Is that Rod will set it up where Jordan Stahl probably plays against the Nico Hischier line. Aho will go up against Jack Hughes, is my guess. But at some point, Stankoven is going to match up against top NHL centers. Is he ready for that? That also puts a lot of strain on Jackson Blake defensively and Andrei Svechnikov, but those are other matters. This is about Stankoven now being a center. How about Sean Walker, who goes last year from playing, I think, over the course of the season, was sixth on the team among defensemen in ice time, and now will be asked to play alongside Jacob Slavin, at least for the time being. You know, maybe at some point Alexander Nikishin is ready to play top 4 minutes, and that alters everything. But for right now, Nikishin's going to be on a third pair with Shane Gostisbehere, and Sean Walker's going to play with Jacob Slavin. Now, I thought Walker was excellent in the postseason last year and played elevated minutes, but this is a totally different beast. Sean Walker, who has, been at best a fourth defenseman really in his career, is now going to play alongside, I'm not even saying arguably, the best defensive defenseman in the league. Sean's going to be allowed a lot more freedom offensively too. And when we talked to Jordan Martinook last week, what did Martinook, or what was it, yesterday, right?
Yeah, this week.
Is it yesterday?
No, 2 days ago.
Was it 2 days ago?
It was on Tuesday.
Okay, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
When we talked to Jordan Martinook, I asked him who did he think would be the breakout player. That's where he went. He went Sean Walker. Looking forward to that. Big picture question. I'll just ask this, and then we will bring in the head coach. Did Carolina close the gap on the Florida Panthers? Well, until Florida's injury to Alexander Barkov, I would say that Carolina slightly closed the gap. That isn't about Carolina. That's about how good Florida was. I've been saying this for the better part of a year and a half. I think this Florida Panthers team is historically great. And I still think, in many ways, it's the best team even without Alexander Barkov. But I just think that without Barkov, the gap is definitely closed. They'll be without Matthew Tkachuk for probably the first 3 months of the season, maybe even a little longer. But they're still the team to beat, regardless of what the betting market says, where Carolina is the betting favorite in just about all of the sports books. But none of that matters. The only thing that matters is what happens between game 1 and 182. I'm sorry, 82. They don't play 182 games. That would be insane.
Just feels like it.
It's not baseball, right? It does. But by March, it'll feel like it. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's get this party started with the head coach, Rod Brind'Amour. I talked to him downstairs, and I asked him, are you ready?
I think I am. I mean, I'd rather be not ready by me and everyone else ready, But I think everyone's ready to play. That's right. For sure. I mean, obviously there might be some rust. There might be, a little something that you would expect. A lot of guys haven't played a lot, but I think we're all ready to roll.
The first handful of games are always a little bit sketchy anyway, right, in terms of system and structure and all that?
Well, it's just more – it's not even that. I think it's more just the intent, the mindset. You've been in summer mode and non-games that mean nothing mode, and it's hard to really replicate that. All of a sudden you're dropped into the fire and, you don't want to be left getting burned, if you know what I mean.
I was watching last night. We had the Battle of Alberta to open the season, which is wild. Colorado and LA, two teams that think they're going to, be in the Stanley Cup Finals mix. And your matchup tonight, these are two of the best teams in the East, based on what people think. Your thoughts on the Devils?
Yeah, well, we played them enough. We know with this team. We got, fortunate last year where they were missing a couple pieces. We know what that does to a team when you're missing a couple guys. And,
so both Hughes in the lineup.
Yeah, so it's we know they have that talent. That's about as high as you can get. And then they, you watch the rest of their group. They grind it out really well. So there's a reason people predict this team to be top notch, because they are.
All right, I'm going to get to some other players, but I want to ask you about somebody who's been here for a number of years, Andrei Svechnikov. The kind of year that, he was good in the playoffs. It was a different Andrei we saw certainly in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs than we saw in the regular season. What is his next step?
Yeah, I think it's that consistency of what you're talking about. Everyone always focuses on points and goals, but that's part of it. It's no different than you focus your team on wins versus something. You might be playing great hockey, not winning. You got to win. You got to get on the score sheet. But it's that impactful Andre that you're really talking about, where you notice him every game.
Yep.
Like he needs to be that, and then obviously hope the goals come with it. But that has to be the first part. Is he getting 5-6 shots in the game? Are there a couple breakaways? Like even in the preseason game, you had 3. I think breakaways. Doesn't score. We got to convert one of those. In the game, you win the game. But all of a sudden, you're like, that guy was maybe your best player. That's kind of what we need out of him.
Let me ask you about a couple of new guys. Let's start with Keandre Miller. We didn't see him in the preseason. I know. I spoke to him. He's excited about his future here. What are your expectations of him as a player?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited about what he can bring. In the future, for sure. Young player, a great athlete. There's a lot of upside here. So I don't want to get blowing it too hard because I want to give him some time.
Sure.
He hasn't played in new system and all that, but we're excited about what he can bring. As that skating ability is so obvious, and that range, it's everything that you would want in that defenseman.
So you don't want to say 20 goals, 60 points, none of that, like 40
I don't want to say
plus
that.
minus.
I would hope it would be that, but that's asking a lot.
The other new guy, Nick Ehlers.
Yeah.
Another high skill, can finish, all of that. Playing with Aho and Jarvis.
Yeah, well, that's what he's there for. They in preseason they had some chances, didn't finish. So we got to get that. We got those guys to happen.
I'm not sure they tried.
Right. I'm hoping that's kind of what went on there. But no, you're right. That's why we went after him. Just, can we get another guy to be more of a finisher? Get that chance that we seem to create the chances over the years, but can another guy to finish it? And so hopefully that's what happens.
Logan Stankoven at center. I'm curious, not that, you're going to try to win the game tonight, but do you try to put him in situations that are going to test whether or not he can be
what you want? Just playing, you're going to be now. You're playing against real players, and I understand where there might be a deficiency just because he hasn't played the position, so we got to give him some slack there. But I think overall you're getting, your better players out there a little bit more. That's essentially what's happened. You're moving them into the top role, and you put them in that mix with your other better players, and hopefully there's some chemistry, which is what in the games he played, their line was always, every night was creating the offense. So that's why you make that move.
What is the next step for Jackson Blake?
I think, he's been a special player, and it's getting, you want to look at the end of the year and not have 50 points. Maybe can we get him to the higher? Right? Like it seemed like you watch him play, you would think he had way more points because he's all over it all night. We got to, again, we talk about finish. We got to get a little more on the score sheet, but his impact in the game, kind of like Andre's, different way he does it, but he's every game that he's played, you notice him, and that's what he has to continue to do.
I remember a year ago now talking about him, and you saying we just got to figure out a way to get him more ice time.
Yeah.
But he just kept growing as a player. Let's talk about Alexander Nikishin, and then we'll wrap it up. I know Alex has the language barrier that's going to be a problem. But he's itching to go and make an impact. What are your thoughts on especially the beginning of the season for him?
Again, trying not to, throw the world on him. And, we know there's a good player here. Can we make him better every day? It's a slow process, I think, but not put too much on him and just let him develop. He's developing at this level, for me. I know he's a little bit older player as far as, he's been playing pro hockey, but it's a different league. Sure. We're talking maybe the third or fourth best league in the world that he's playing, and now he's in the best league. So it's a huge adjustment. And then playing that position, it's not like playing forward where you make a mistake, you got your D and your goalie to back you up. When you make a mistake back there, it's like or in your net. So it's such a more important position overall, and so we got to give him a little more leeway, I think.
Oh, man, I am excited. The first regular season conversation with Rod Brind'Amour. I remember when we started the preseason, I said the first of, 113 of these. Regular season, preseason, postseason, getting all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. I have budgeted for as many as 115. I don't think all the series will go the distance. All right. That'll be, we'll continue this conversation throughout the program today. Mike Maniscalco will join us at the bottom of the hour. Let me get to, for a lot of people, maybe not all of you, but for a lot of people, a story that is equally as important, and for some of you, significantly more important. What's going on at the University of North Carolina with head coach Bill Belichick? First of all, have you seen the new Walmart ad campaign, Who Knew? So first of all, it's a weird ad campaign.
No.
Who knew? Who knew? I don't get all the dancing. I don't get any of it, but it's fine. When we saw Carolina's schedule at the beginning of the year, this has nothing to do about the teams, the opponents, the structure of it. We have 4 games, then an off week. Then you play the Clemson game. Then another off week. Who knew we would need all of this time off? Who knew? And you could look at it one of two ways. It's possible that this off week comes at a bad time. Because what has happened, and it happened in the summer, it is happening now. The downtime has made what we saw for now 5 games completely. We have lost the plot of all of this. It has gotten so crazy that there were rumblings yesterday that Bill might not make it to the Cal game next week. Like, no joke. There were a lot of people who thought that Bill won't coach at Cal. And I'm not 100% sure that those people still don't believe that. There is so much turmoil. And this is not, by the way, this is not embarrassing like with a soundbite yesterday. It's not embarrassing to Mac Brown. It's not embarrassing to college football. Everything that is happening right now is embarrassing to just 2 entities. It's embarrassing to Bill Belichick, first and foremost. And it's embarrassing to the University of North Carolina, maybe as a community, but to the people who put this whole regime in place. It is embarrassing to them. What anybody does about it, from Bill Belichick to Chancellor Lee Roberts to Bubba Cunningham, whoever, what they do about it is an absolute mystery at this point. My guess, and this is just a guess, that there are people who want this thing to be over, like give us a new coach next Saturday night. There are people that say, no, come on, what are we doing? We invested all this. We have to give it time. We'd be idiots to not give it time. I'm not telling you who's right or wrong because I don't know the answer to this. We do know, however, that this has become beyond a circus. We knew that this would garner attention. The mere presence of Bill Belichick as the head football coach at North Carolina was going to garner attention. I told you this before we even got close to the season. This would be the greatest amount of attention ever paid to a college football program. Ever. Massive amounts. Unprecedented.
And now for all different kinds of reasons.
But it started way back.
Yep.
It started before we ever got close to playing football. It started last year when after the announcement and the 33rd team and Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick constantly showing up on Pat McAfee's show and everybody talking about what was going to happen at North Carolina. And I'll be honest, everybody was guilty of just misreading. Even the people who thought it would be bad. I don't think there is a soul who thought it would be this bad. Not anybody thought it would be this bad. I'm not sure they're going to win another game. I'm really not. All of the ACC games that we thought were going to be easy, they're looking at North Carolina and saying, don't worry, we'll get well when we take on UNC. I mean, they made Clemson look like the greatest football team ever, and Clemson has issues. All right, so I want you to hear from two ESPN folk about this. We're going to talk about this throughout the program. But here's Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on the recruiting aspect of all of this.
Well, if you're not willing to pay me more than the other Power 4 programs and you can't sell me on winning, why would I want to sign up to play for Bill Belichick? That's the thing that you have to ask yourself, because right now at North Carolina, there's a lot of nepotism going on behind the scenes that is creating a lot of friction. I'm not quite sure that there's anybody that has the ability from a decision-making power standpoint to give any pushback to how Bill wants to do things. And it's clear that post-Tom Brady, Bill Belichick is not the same coach that he once was. So if you're a high school player or in the college football landscape as a player, you can't have any degree of confidence that this program is on the right track. So why would you want to entrust your athletic career to Bill Belichick?
All right, the second part of that, I completely agree with. The first part of that, with all respect to Chris Canty, I find lazy. The nepotism part, I find lazy. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, I find lazy. Bill Belichick is an elite football coach. I mean, it's very possible he's not the greatest football coach in the history of the NFL. I mean, statistically speaking, if you wanted to point to Andy Reid, yeah, I guess you could, right? He's got multiple Super Bowls. He's also been great with two different quarterbacks. He's created other good quarterbacks out of bad quarterbacks. I get all of that, all of it. But I find the rest of that stuff somewhat lazy. Here's Clinton Yates, who, depending on where you're listening, might have been on right before us. Clinton Yates from ESPN Radio.
It was so plain to see. Oh, y'all don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
You spent the entire offseason and got absolutely dump trucked after one drive of decency. It wasn't that hard to figure out. Matter of fact, I think that's where first the Occam's razor discussion came up on this show. Just look at the obvious example. Nobody is competent in this circumstance, and it was clear and plain to see this is going to be an abject failure from the jump with an old man and his young girlfriend running a program that doesn't even care about anything educationally otherwise either.
All right, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what all of that meant.
He felt some kind of way about it, though.
He did. Look, I said this at the very beginning. The people who thought this would never work, I said it. I said, you are probably more likely to be right than wrong, to whatever extent. Those people who said it would never work, and it's a very large group of people that said it would never work. Again, way more likely to be right than wrong. But if they could figure out the recruiting aspect, which clearly they have not yet, if they could figure out how to create a program, which they clearly have not figured it out yet, the theory that Bill would be able to coach him up and get him ready for the NFL, and therefore you would get a high caliber of player who wanted to be coached like a pro to get ready to be a pro, then the theory was sound. Here's the problem, and I said this yesterday, and we're going to break right after this. The miscalculation on the part of Belichick and everybody around him that you could just coach was absolutely ill-conceived. Because right now, what is missing is an absolute environment in which you can do that. They can't get to the coaching element until there is a culture and a program in place, and you just can't fast track that. They thought they could, and they cannot. You've got to create an environment in which kids can come here. They're kids. They're not pros. Even if they get paid, they are not professionals. They are still 19 to 23-year-old young men who would otherwise be just college football players, and that's really what they are. They just happen to make money doing it because so much money is being created by the system. Until they can figure out how to create a program, it ain't going to get better. All right, Mike Maniscalco will join us next. We'll talk more about UNC football a little bit later on. He is the voice of your Carolina Hurricanes. He will be busy tonight. He will talk with us when we come back.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and New Jersey.
Kotkaniemi shoots and scores! Svechnikov puts it onto the tape, and Kotkaniemi whistles it past Tarasov.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7:30.
Shot on for the score on the power play. Logan Stankoven with the net front.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
My whole goal in life, make other people's lives easier. Hi, this is Adam Gold. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, I can help. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle and the best way to make your life easier. 919-510-6830, traverslasik.com. Get rid of the time, the hassle, the potential issues with contact lenses and glasses. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, traverslasik.com.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This party's getting crazy!
Are those mini horses?
And there's a build-your-own fireworks bar?
Ah! Heads up!
Whoa, and they've got the new ultimate blowout scratch-offs!
Okay, now it's a party!
With $250, $500, and $5,000 prizes, the ultimate blowout scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are exploding with wins. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.26. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Your home shelters your dreams and protects your memories. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand this deeply. It's why we've dedicated ourselves to caring for homes like yours. As part of the Baker Roofing family, we bring a century of expertise to every project, from roofing and siding to windows and decks. We don't just upgrade homes, we help protect the life you've built within them. Because your home is where our heart is. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and start your home's next chapter.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. And I am sitting right now where, starting at 7:30, Mike Maniscalco will be sitting alongside Trip Tracy to bring you Game 1 of 82 regular season Hurricanes games. Mike Maniscalco now joins us on the Adam Gold Show. By the time you get here, sir, this seat will probably still be warm.
Well, that's good to know, and luckily I know I can reach out into the writer's bullpen and bring in another chair if I need to, Adam.
Well, you brought up bullpen. Are you okay after last night's? I thought the bullpen game would be bad for Toronto. It wasn't. Are you good? You're all right?
Yeah, I mean, this is one. The better team definitely won. The way that they're constructed, can go back to Game 1 for the Yankees where they had the bases loaded in that 6th inning and, only push across one run with the, supposedly better than the Murderers Row 27 Yankee lineup, according to analytics. Yeah, I'm fine with it. And allow me to be petty, because it's rare that I do this in sports and fandom. I can really compartmentalize the loss to the Blue Jays far better than the Red Sox. And now that the Red Sox fans all of a sudden are co-opting Toronto, I'm fine with that. I'm like, that's where the universe is aligned again, and everything is fine. By the way, I'm driving my car, and I'm on a one-way street, and a woman almost went headlong into me. So that's got to be a good harbinger for tonight, right?
Yeah, no, that has happened to me going to a Mets game. By the way, I was joking around with somebody today who's a Yankees fan, and he forgot until after the fact to say, "Hey, by the way, did your team play a postseason game?" And I'm like, "No, we're just resting. We're getting ready for we're getting ready for spring training because the Mets weren't good enough to make the postseason. We gave that spot to the Reds." All right, let's talk about tonight. So I'll leave it open for you. We have new players, we have old players in new places, and this is year 8 of the Rod Brind'Amour era. So as you're getting ready to deliver your opening remarks tonight, Mike, what are they?
Quite simply, we know what the expectations are on this team, and it's the first step of a journey that we're all hoping ends in mid to late June for the Carolina Hurricanes, because of how this team is constructed, because of the new additions and how they should really blend in well to this core group that's here. This, to me, is, how we can say it's one of 82. Opening night, while it in the big picture is one of 82, this is the special one of 82, because everything is new again. All of the hope is renewed. All of the things that you want to think about, you can get to this game, and we'll see if that happens here tonight for the Canes. But I really do believe that the moves that they've made have put them in their best position to get over the hump and get to the Stanley Cup final. And then when you get there, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know about the matchup against the Devils. It is interesting. I asked this of Rod downstairs because we saw the Battle of Alberta to start the season for Edmonton and Calgary. You don't often see the bad blood. We should have Tampa and Florida open up the season against one another, especially based on what we saw in the last 2 preseason games. But these are arguably the two best teams in the Metro, and maybe in the regular season, these are the two teams that will fight it out atop the entire conference. If you think about the fact that the Metro isn't nearly as strong as the Atlantic top to bottom, so it's a really good test for everybody.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either, and I'm not trying to disrespect the Washington Capitals, but I don't think anybody saw that Capitals season coming, what they had last year, and a lot of things fell into the right place for them. If I just look at the rosters, I think that Carolina and New Jersey are the top 2 teams in the division, and then Washington should be third because then there's a whole bunch of I don't know. That includes the rest of the Metro. I don't know about Philly. I don't know about Columbus. Yeah. I don't know about the Rangers. And after how they opened, I really have questions about the Rangers.
Too.
You know, same thing with Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of I don't know, and there's some of that in Washington's game. I do know this for Carolina and New Jersey. If they're healthy for 82 games, they should be the top two teams in this division. So I do like opening up against this team and kind of setting that tone. And I actually like the first two games for Carolina are in division at home before they go on that long swing. But these teams know each other really well. Jersey will tell you they weren't 100% in the playoffs, so maybe there's a little added chip on their shoulder for this one. But, you know, the Canes walk into tonight's game, Adam. I think it's so early, but you can set a tone in the division with a win over New Jersey if you're Carolina going, well, you know, you now have your roster close to 100%, and we still can beat you. So that's what's on the table here tonight for this game. You know, if whoever loses, the season's not over, clearly, but whoever wins can walk out of the game feeling really good about themselves early in the season.
Mike Maniscalco joining us here, 7:30, just by 7:38, opening face-off and radio coverage on the radio here in Raleigh begins at 6:30 with the pregame show. And it is a radio-only game because ESPN is bothering us tonight. Let me ask you about the two new guys. We haven't seen K'Andre Miller play in a preseason game. We know how good he can be. What do you think I mean, everybody's talking about this could be another Brady Shea because of obvious things. Yep. Mobile defenseman comes from the Rangers. But could he be better than that?
Yeah, I think he can because he's coming with, I think, a little bit more established in his time in the NHL than what Brady Shea had. And then that's nothing against Brady Shea. I mean, I've got all the time in the world for Brady Shea. And I would put him on my team any day of the week that ends in Y. But the thing about K'Andre Miller is you look at how the game is defended today, and he's kind of like Jacob Slavin. He's built for how you want your defenders to be, but he also can play with snarl, and he can hit. You know, everybody likes to transpose numbers from one team to another. You know, the Canes don't play the same way. They play similar, but they don't play the same way as the Rangers have during Miller's career. But he would lead the team in hits every year that he's been in the league if he played for Carolina. So that's one thing for me. Adam, watching him in training camp, we didn't get a chance to see him in a game, as you pointed out, but his footwork, and I'm not talking about his skating ability. His skating ability is very good. But when you've got those plays where you're a defenseman where you got to chop your feet and get over laterally and make plays, his footwork is excellent. And I think that, you know, there will be, saying all of this, there will be an adjustment period to play for this team. There always is for defensemen. But when he gets really comfortable on that back end, he is going to put up better offensive numbers than he did in New York. And I think that the quality of defense that he has brought will just get better, too, because of the group that he has around him.
Yeah, and I love the pairing with Jalen Chatfield to start the season. Look, down the road, we all hope that Alexander Nikishin forces his way into Carolina's top four. And then we'll see where it goes from there, where you got to have Nikishin playing, 20, 21, 22 minutes a night. But for right now, Miller and Jalen Chatfield, Slavin and Sean Walker, and it's a total adjustment period for Sean, who's going to go from playing against, bottom six forwards to playing against big boys, playing with Jacob Slavin. But Carolina's got a really good mix on their top two pairs, and I'm looking forward to Miller and Chatfield. All right, we'll close with this, Mike Maniscalco. Carolina needs blank to be their best player this year.
Wow. The easy one would be Sebastian Aho, just because of driving that line with Nick Ehlers and Seth Jarvis, but I'm going to go with Andrei Svechnikov. If you can get a monster season that we have been predicting for a while from number 37, the Canes become a matchup problem for everybody in the league.
I agree. And it's fun. Here's the thing that I think about Aho. And I think ultimately down the road 2 years from now, I think we're going to be talking about Seth Jarvis as their best player. But Aho consistently, and I've always used the comparison of Nick Backstrom in Washington, is that, now unfortunately Nick had injury issues that really ended his career earlier, but he was just so steady and good, and he made everything easier for Alexander Ovechkin. But Aho, I know what I'm going to get from Aho. And in many ways, I know what I'm going to get from Jarvis. But if Andre has the type of year that he is capable of having, it doesn't have to be, 40 goals and, 85 points. But if he's always noticeable, and I talked to Rod about this, if he's always noticeable, Carolina's in good shape. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. It doesn't need to be a 50-goal season, but if he has 30 goals and 35 assists, he'd be cracking the 30-goal mark for the first time. That's good. That's a big thing for this team. And one more thing on Alexander Nikishin. Yeah, there's the line that the kids say, let him cook. I'm going to paraphrase this, or I'm going to try to remold it. Let him bake. Give him time to come up to temperature here in the National Hockey League. And then he's got all the tools in the toolbox, Adam. When he learns how to fix everything, he is going to be that player who gets that top 4 minutes. But right now, just let him figure out what the NHL game is like. He had the taste in the playoffs, which is a different animal, but this is going to be the first few months of the season really big for him. But I'll put my money back on Andrei Svechnikov. If he has that 30-35 or 30-40 season, like I say, I don't know if I'm on the other bench. How do I match up against the Carolina Hurricanes if everybody else, because Aho and Jarvis and Ehlers, they deliver. You're at this point in your career, these are their numbers. If you can get that second line with Stankoven and Blake and Svechnikov really being the engine that drives it, Kane's become a huge headache for everybody in this league.
No doubt about it. Mike Maniscalco, I'll be clear of your workspace by the time you get here.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be looking for chairs by the time I get there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your time. Mike Maniscalco here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, one-timers, I'll be in the left face-off circle. Victoria will feed me pucks, and we will answer questions next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
There's no time like fair time, y'all. The 2025 NC State Fair runs October 16th to 26th in Raleigh and is jam-packed with fun for the whole family. Come enjoy tasty eats, free entertainment, livestock competitions, giant pumpkins, nightly fireworks, and so much more. This year's NC State Fair is the event you can't miss. Bring your friends, bring your family, and make memories that you'll be talking about till next year. Get your discounted tickets today at ncstatefair.org.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
As a school nurse, I feel like we're really that contact for the schools between the Department of Public Health and what goes on in the school system.
The face of the Department of Public Health in our school is our nurse, Nurse Emma. All the communication that she was receiving and direction she was receiving, she made sure to communicate with us and be a wonderful partner with us.
These kids need their routines.
NC Public Health. Everywhere, every day, everyone.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
For North Carolina high school seniors, the countdown to college is on. And at CFNC, we've got all the resources and information needed to get you on campus next year. Take College Application Week, for example. Did you know you can apply for free at many North Carolina colleges from October 20th through October 26th? Sure can. Don't miss the opportunity to save some money applying to college. And for more help, visit cfnc.org/C2C.
As public power customers, we experience fewer outages and faster restoration than customers of other electric providers. But the benefits of having a locally owned electric system go far beyond unbeaten reliability. Our local public power employees support our community, providing electric hookups for events, installing and maintaining ballpark lights, holiday lights, traffic lights, street lights, and more. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Gold. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah.
in the
Went
car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm putting odds, by the way, at plus 150 that at some point today, based on being at Lenovo Center, that I return from a break and call this the Storm Watch. At some point, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I know I will.
It's okay.
Because because I have hockey in front of me already.
Yeah.
I watched the end of the Devils morning skate, usually the extra guys by the time we started the show, because they skated at 11:30. By the time everybody's off the ice, it's like a little bit after 12, and then the extra guys stuck around. I think Steph Nason was skating because he's not going to play tonight. Oh, I'm ready. I am ready to go. All right, I am also ready for one-timers.
Okay, so looking at our YouTube stream, or you can at me on Twitter. First up, we have who scores the first goal tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes.
First goal of the season will go to Jordan Stahl.
Okay.
That is
like
my
it.
pick tonight.
I like it. We've got some people saying Stankoven. We've got, 2 Stankovens. We've got Ehlers.
Sure.
So, yeah, who knows?
Look, it would be great. It would be great if Ehlers, if you're asking me who would be best for Carolina to have scored the first goal, it would either be Nick Ehlers or Andrei Svechnikov.
Oh, okay.
If those guys score tonight, and they don't have to score the first goal, but if those guys score tonight, so we don't have to worry about, going 4 games or whatever it is, but before we see Ehlers or Svech score, so we don't have to even talk about it, it would be awesome if those guys got on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go with Aho. That'll be my pick. Okay. Let's see. This next one from William, he's got 2 parts. So, does Kochetkov take the reins as the 1A this year? And will we have a 100-point player?
No and no. Piotr's not even in the team tonight. He was not at the morning skate. He's got some issue that is bothering him even though he played the other night. I thought he played well in the last preseason game. But he is not available at all tonight, and he's getting checked out. We don't know how long he's going to be out. The new guy, Brandon Bussey, was in the locker room tonight. And actually, where everybody's got their name over their stalls in the locker room, under where Bussey's stall is, it just says new guy.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny. And I put it on Twitter. I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter. And somebody was mad at it. Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe they did that. I'm like, dude,
What? They're just
come
playing.
on.
Like, oh, come
Just
on.
Have a sense of humor.
Maybe his nickname would be like
I thought it
Bussin'
Yeah.
Bussy or something. I don't know.
Could be.
That's what
Could
they
be.
use.
I don't know
like
what
to
it is.
say.
But he's he laughed. It was funny. I thought it was good. So he's going to be the backup tonight. Carolina doesn't have a back-to-back in a bit, but you also don't want to break Freddie if you don't have Pyotr Kochetkov healthy. So, and look, Kochetkov has to take another step. He has to get the bad goals out of his game. If he does that, then Carolina's goaltending tandem is fine.
All right, we have a last-minute one here in our YouTube stream. So does Pesce or Nikishin get more points tonight?
Ooh, Nikishin will get more points than Pesce tonight, but I think it's most likely that both get 0. But I want to see Nikishin play, like 16, 17 minutes tonight, and I'll be interested to see how he fares. But I am looking forward to seeing number 21 play. All right, next hour, EJ Hradek of NHL Network. I'm at Lenovo.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Not only is Gordon my friend, who I have known now for more than a quarter of a century, boy, did that just make me feel old. But Gordon also has saved me thousands of dollars in closing costs because the original no closing cost mortgage that Gordon invented in 1987 and brought to the Triangle in 1996, I have used 11 times, whether it's buying a house, which I have done 3 times with Miller Lending, or refinancing, which I have done 8 times with Miller Lending, have never paid a dime in closing costs, have always been of clear mind when I wanted to refinance free of charge because I didn't feel like I wasted closing cost money. Miller Lending. Check it out online, millerlending.com. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It's not enough to just say it's Bill Belichick's first year. He wasn't supposed to win. The issue is other coaches in their first year have won around the country in many different situations, and they haven't been given all the resources that Bill Belichick has been given. The expectations are higher, but for a reason, and he's not living up to them.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
One last exhale.
Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one patient per year who might not have access to proper oral health care. Join me in making a difference.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Now Hall all alone. In on Thompson. Hall scores! What a play! What a transition pass! And Taylor Hall puts Carolina back up by 2. It's 3-1. Gonna fight for it along the boards. Hall reaches for it. He'll get it to Walker. Walker's got Roslovic with him. Walker holds, shoots, and scores! Sean Walker's first postseason goal, and it is a monster. Carolina goes up 4-2 with 3:15 left here in the third.
Goosebumps again? Twice in exactly 60 minutes. Goosebumps.
Double goosies.
Yeah.
Or
we
chill
might
bumps.
see more of that. Yeah, I never understood that. We might see more of that or hear more of that from Sean Walker this year. You know, going back to last year. Hi, it's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria's back in our studios. I am out at Lenovo Center. So if you're watching on YouTube, you go, why is the studio dark? Well, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And apparently when I'm not there, they save money on lights by not turning the lights on in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why they do that, but that's fine. So the studio is kind of dark.
Because it gives
You
people
see
goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. You see the Adam Gold Show on the big screen behind the normal desk. But I'm out here because I couldn't wait for the start of the hockey season. I figure I'm just going to stay here all day. I got here just before 9 o'clock. I will not leave here until after the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. We do that live on YouTube as well. You could also watch this show on YouTube, even though you're not watching me today. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. You can also download the 99.9 The Fan app, and then you just push a button, and you can watch it there. So whether it's on your phone or on your iPad, you can watch it there. And then after the game, you'll get us on the Canes Corner podcast, again, on YouTube. Search Canes Corner podcast, and you'll find us. And I don't even know what we were going to talk about, but it's fine. But I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for the start of the hockey season. Hopefully we'll get a lot of Taylor Hall goals, Sean Walker goals. I think that was from the Devils, the end of the Devils series. Maybe not. That series ended in overtime. I don't even remember anymore. It doesn't really matter. We have great expectations for this hockey team. All right, EJ Hradek's going to join us in a little bit less than 15 minutes from NHL Network. Until we get to that, we got stuff to discuss, so let's do it. And by the way, we'll give you your HOBAG Survivor Pool pick coming up in this hour after we're done talking with EJ Hradek. So real quick about the Hurricanes. We talked to Mike Maniscalco, the voice of the Canes, last hour. And he and I are on the same page. If Carolina, a great sign for them taking advantage of the team that they put on the ice this year. And I've talked to a number of people. For my money, this team, the only team that was better in terms of Hurricanes than this one, is the one after they added Jake Gensel at the trade deadline 2 seasons ago. That team, which also had Pesce and Shea and a different version of Brent Burns and Dmitry Orlov, that team was stacked. Could have easily, gone very far in the playoffs and didn't because it's sports. But this team, this roster, man, this roster is really, really good. I don't think it's the finished product yet. I think with almost $11 million in available cap space, I think the Hurricanes have positioned themselves to take advantage of that cap space when invariably a host of teams realize, you know what, we're not going to make the playoffs this year, and we need to get better elsewhere. Maybe we need to tear it down a little bit before we can build it all the way back up. And Carolina will be poised to take advantage of that. Put my money on them to really add at the deadline. And remember, the postseason salary cap rules will be in effect this year. So having all of that cap space puts Carolina in even better position to take advantage of it. So let's move on to the other pressing story of the day before we get involved with EJ Hradek of NHL Network. And that, of course, is the University of North Carolina and what's going to happen. And somebody on Twitter sent me a screen grab of stories of, I think this might come from Yahoo. I don't know. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. It's been all over the place. Bill Belichick has discussed, these are all rumors, Bill Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina. Members of the coaching staff have spoken to other schools and looking for a spot. Belichick wants to get a soft landing elsewhere if he triggers his buyout. Recruiting violations. By the way, those are not necessarily rumors. Those are potential issues for UNC. And again, when you hire a staff that isn't versed in the college process, these things are likely to prop up. So we'll see where that goes. Look, it would be an incredible embarrassment for this to end before the end of the season. It will be an embarrassment if it ends at the end of this season. If it is forced to end, it would be different if the Tar Heels went like 6-6, and then Bill decided to take an NFL job at the end of the season, or if he just decided, you know what, this is not really what I want to do at the end of the year. But this year was credible. But this year is not credible. It will not be credible. And so far, it has proven to be an utter dumpster fire in every possible way. Even the stuff that doesn't matter. The Toys of Eros element to this. The Jordan Hudson pulling the plug on the Hard Knocks with HBO. Carolina entering into an agreement with Hulu for their own documentary, pulling the plug on that. The Us Weekly, Who is the Real Jordan Hudson? All of the things that have gotten in not in Carolina's way, although maybe it has. I really don't think so. All of those things that have nothing to do with football, that have brought attention to the university that they don't want, all of these things, man, they pale in comparison to dysfunction on the football field and behind the scenes in the football program. All of this is just adding embarrassment to the entire mix. And it speaks ill of Bill and what's going on in the football program. And it also, I think, it should embarrass the entire UNC community. Getting out of it How do they get out of it? I mean, best case scenario is that over the next several weeks, football rights the ship and everybody calms down. That would be best case scenario. If you're asking me what is likely to happen, I think it's not going to get better in terms of football. It will not get better in terms of football. I do think it can get better in the other elements, the communication, the environment, the culture. That can get better, even without the football getting better. But that will take a level of openness and humility that I am not sure this coaching staff has within itself. Whether it's from Bill Bill himself or the staff, Mike Lombardi, I don't know that they've got it within themselves to change the way they do business. Because one of the things that is jumping out to me on a day in, day out basis regarding this program is that, and I talked about this yesterday, you can have bad players, you can have bad coaches. But you can have good players and good coaches if there is not a culture, an environment that is conducive to building a program. It doesn't matter. Florida State probably had, well, Florida State's probably a bad example because I don't really know the culture of that program. But last year, obviously, it wasn't good. You see the way Dabo Swinney coaches his team, even when they're not good. Like Dabo, there is a lot of the environment there is conducive to being good. Like, not to use NC State as an example, but I think NC State's got that same environment, right? I think they create a culture of family. North Carolina has not ever created that with Bill Belichick in order to be able to take advantage and be able to get to the point where you could just coach your players and get them better because you're a superior coach. You've got to create an environment that treats these guys like college players. They're not pros. It's a long-winded way of saying there's a difference between getting paid and being a pro. And college players get paid, but they're not pros. Treating them like pros is a mistake. And I think Bill Belichick and company got here and just assumed we're going to just treat everybody like pros. We're not, and you have to create an environment that it will allow college players to thrive. I don't believe that's there. When it's there, then I think you can take advantage of the coaching. All right, EJ Hradek, NHL Network, will join us. We'll talk about the Canes, the Devils, the Metro, Connor McDavid's contract, Jack Eichel's contract, 8 years, $13.5 million a year. And, man, maybe we'll talk about Seth Jarvis's contract in relation to that. Anyway, EJ Hradek, NHL Network, joins us next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodnecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eichander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
Our Carolina Hurricanes are kicking off their regular season tonight. We have Thursday night football, and we still have MLB playoffs. But guess what? There's always time for some motorcycle therapy. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Law Tigers, and not only do we have our pick of sports these days, but we are also in what I personally believe is the best time to ride. Fall is bringing cooler temps and beautiful sights, but while you're enjoying Mother Nature, make sure to always be aware of your surroundings. Motorcycles can be difficult to spot sometimes, especially especially if people aren't paying attention. So if you are ever in a wreck on your motorcycle, don't call your insurance company, call Law Tigers first. At Law Tigers, they're just like us. They're riders too, so they get it. They know what it's like to go through an accident. They know the value of your bike, your gear, and the investment that you've made. So at Law Tigers, case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This party's getting crazy.
Are those mini horses?
And there's a build-your-own fireworks bar?
Ah! Heads up!
Whoa, and they've got the new ultimate blowout scratch-offs.
Okay, now it's a party.
With $250, $500, and $5,000 prizes, the ultimate blowout scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are exploding with wins. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.26. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Don't miss Bailey's Fall Antique and Vintage Jewelry Show October 7th through 11th. Search through hundreds of vintage necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings, and more to discover your unique jewelry treasure. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry on October 7th in Rocky Mount, October 8th in Greenville, October 9th in Cary, or October 10th and 11th in Raleigh's Village District to find your perfect piece of jewelry history. Visit BaileyBox.com for details.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show, and I am at Lenovo Center. In a little bit more than 6 hours, the Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils will take to the ice and start for each of them the 2025-26 season. I know somebody who will be watching with anticipation from the NHL Network studios. Host of First Shift, my friend E.J. Hradek, will join us. You'll be on the air pretty soon, sir. I appreciate your time. Are these the two best teams in the Metro?
They may be. They may be. Washington will probably want to jump into that based on last year, although I think they're kind of primed for a little bit of regression. I think the Rangers are going to have a bounce-back year, although you wouldn't know it by that Ambien-like effort that they put forth in their home opener on Tuesday night as they paid homage to their franchise's 100th birthday with a night off. But anyway, Carolina is, in New Jersey. But, I'll say this, Adam. I'll start trouble on your show here today, right? Because it's fitting. The Yankees lost last night, and they're out again in baseball, right? And, I think hockey and baseball are very similar in that the regular season and the playoffs present two really different challenges. And I think the Yankees and the Carolina Hurricanes are both teams that are, first of all, they have a philosophy of the way they want to do things, and they are stubborn in that philosophy, even when it's not working, to the ultimate goal of winning the championship. And so both are really built to play well in the regular season when you are seeing different teams, some good, some not so good. You're moving place to place. The weaknesses that you have cannot be fully identified in the one-offs of a regular season. In the playoffs, when you get into in hockey, a 7-game series, all your weaknesses can be fully exposed by opposing teams if they have the wherewithal and they're good enough. And usually teams in the playoffs are good enough. And so in the playoffs, Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Yankees, they get to a certain level, and then they depart from the scene before the final moments. So, I think that the Canes are similar. Like they're kind of a philosophy. They're kind of stubborn in that philosophy. And listen, they've won a lot of regular season games in the last several years. They got good players. But when push comes to shove in the playoffs, where it is different, and the Canes go into this year again with Freddie Anderson and Peter Kochetkov.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right, so let's drill down on this a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think, EJ Hradek? And I'm ready. I'm here for the conversation because you and I might look at, like, I think getting to the conference finals 3 times in 7 years is more of an accomplishment than a failure that they haven't gotten past that point. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And you look at their success in the postseason. There's a lot of teams. Yes, we have Tampa that's won 2 cups and Florida that's won 2 cups. And in between, we have seen St. Louis and we have seen Vegas and Colorado win. Carolina's been more of the steady metronome in that, always there. So, but you're right that they haven't gotten past that round. They want to get to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
So what is it that they are missing in your mind when we get to that point that is exposed?
Well, I think the goaltending has been a constant issue. Now, some years it's better than others, and in the regular season there are gaudy numbers because the team plays well in front of the goalies. They don't give up a ton, and those guys are capable in those situations. But when you get into games in the playoffs where, the games can be tighter and, like, bad goals are really accentuated, right? And, I go back to just off the top of my head, that game against the Rangers, I think it was a game 6 when they were leading going in the third period. Freddie Anderson gave up a couple of goals I would call questionable. Chris Kreider, I think, had a couple. And
I would use a different word, and I can't say it.
Yeah.
I would, because you're 100% right about that game. Yeah.
So
you're right.
That's what I mean. And like these examples, listen, if your goal as a professional sports franchise is to be consistently good, and in the end, if we win, it all, that's a wonderful byproduct. But we just want to be consistently good. If that's who you are, like, then they're Yankees and the Carolina Hurricanes are both, they're aces. They figured it out, right? Because the Yankees are in the playoffs every year. Carolina's in the playoffs, and you just said it. Carolina's gotten to the conference finals a bunch of times.
3 times.
Now, they haven't been successful trips. They haven't been deep runs into the conference final. But I just think, that the goal of any organization in sports should be the ultimate goal, and of winning it all. And Carolina's got some good players there, but
EJ Hradek is
willingness. This unwillingness to maybe in the goaltending area and maybe just little bit pieces. That's how I see it.
EJ Hradek, NHL Network, first shift, 4:00 today on NHL Network. I think goaltending could be an issue. I would like to see Pyotr Kochetkov take another step. And take some of the pressure off Frederik Andersen. If Kochetkov could get the bad goals out of his system, I think we would see an option for Rod when we got to the playoffs. Unfortunately, Kochetkov hasn't given Rod that option, and Kochetkov has been used like break glass in case of emergency type thing. And Freddie wears out. Freddie wears down. That's always been his problem. Here's the way I look at this team in terms of the postseason and really where they have fallen behind is I do think that it is fair to say that Carolina needs to be bigger and tougher in the middle of the ice in scoring areas. So they've got a lot of good players. And to me, that's where Andrei Svechnikov plays a big role in what they do. In the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, Andrei was great. He wasn't great against Florida. And against that team, and I'll put Tampa in that mix too, against those 2 teams, you're going to have to be better and tougher and more physical in the middle. That, to me, is the bigger issue for Carolina than goaltending, because I'll stack Freddie up against Aiden Hill or Darcy Kemper, 2 goaltenders that won cups. I got no problem putting Freddie up against them, but they got to get that. That to me is the difference.
I wouldn't disagree with that, and I think the big hole there, right, has been the second center hole. Yep. And they've tried to fill it in different ways. But again, in the regular season, they're good enough through the middle because they're not playing Florida head-to-head 82 games. Or they're not playing, the Tampas. To be fair to the Canes and their management, there's 32 teams in this league. It is extremely hard to get depth through the middle. It just really is. I mean, some teams have, some teams are really fortunate. Like for the last 20 years, the Penguins, now the last several years, Malkin hasn't been as good, but they were fortunate, right? They had Malkin and Crosby. Nobody else, had that. And I mean, you look through these teams that have won, they've been strong through the middle. Aho is a really good player. Yep. But for me, Aho is almost like a 1A guy. If let's just say in some kind of crazy world, Mark Scheifele would have been a free agent, and your Canes could have got him. You would have had Aho and Scheifele as kind of playing off each other as 1A, 1B. That would have been kind of a championship roster. Yeah. But again, so I don't mean just to pick on the goaltending, but I just think it's a philosophy that we can get by with goaltending, which I think, there might be some of that if you have the number 2 center in place. But if you don't, maybe you need a better goalie. I don't know. But it is hard, to be fair. It is very hard to find those guys. You have to draft and develop them for the most part. And, sometimes you can sign guys as free agents. They got Nikolai Ehlers this year to come in, so that's a great addition for their team. But it's just hard to get those players. You see Jack Eichel re-signed for 8 years, for 13. These guys stay with their teams. I think someone told me a stat, Adam, this year, 49 of the top 50 point getters in the league last year, 49 of the top 50 are in the exact same location they were last year. The only one is Mitch Marner. So, it is hard to get these guys. So that is a fair, it's tough. But again, that's kind of where they stand. They have a really good roster of players. They in the regular season, they beat you with that consistently hard game night after night after night. They've got good defensemen. They've shuffled D guys out of there, in and out, around the Slavins and some of the guys they've had there for a while. They still had success. So like I said, they're built to be a really good regular season team. They're built maybe to win a first-round series. I was really impressed the way they dusted the Washington Capitals. Yep. I mean, that wasn't even competitive. So that was a great series win. But then you get to that next round, and you get beat up at home. And, I mean, Florida's a special team. They've won 2 years in a row. They've been to the final 3 years. They got special players. And look at them through the middle. Got Barkov, Bennett, Lundell. They're going to miss Barkov this year, but Lundell is going to be a really good player.
I still think they're the best team.
Listen. I said the other day,
I heard you.
Asked me who's going to win, and I said, listen, until I see something different, they're still the best team because they're going to get Kachuk back at some point, and he's going to be healthy and kind of hopefully healthy and rested, which will help them. But I think Anton Lundell is a really good. He was a 15th overall pick in the draft. Like, he's ready to take a step. Now, they'll miss Barkov. There's no question. But that's a really good team that really knows who they are. They have a special chemistry there. And, like, sometimes, like, things like that happen, and it just rallies teams. So
I heard your spot.
I don't know who's going to beat them in the East. I just don't know.
I was listening to you talk with Steve Coolius on Sirius the other day, and when you said, like, I'm still thinking Florida. What I think is that Florida now, without Barkov, just drops back to being maybe just slightly better than everybody else, as opposed to way better than everybody else.
I agree.
I've been saying this. I said this all last year, EJ. I think that Florida is historically good or historically great. Like, do I think they're as good as those Islanders teams of the 80s? I think that might be the greatest team we've ever seen in terms of an expanded league, not just having 6 teams in the league. But I think Florida is the best team we've seen in 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think from beginning to end, now, look, it would be a great tournament, right, if we could have the Chicago teams and the Pittsburgh teams and the L.A. Kings. That L.A. Kings team was pretty damn good, right?
Awesome.
So there were some great teams. There were some great teams in there. But the Florida Panthers, that's just been a special group. And, Adam, we're talking about getting players, right, and filling holes. You have to give Bill Zito and that group a lot of credit because they went out and traded for Sam Bennett. Right? Like, nobody was banging down. Sam Bennett was a guy that was not working out in Calgary, but somehow they saw the potential in what this guy could bring. They got him for a song, and he's a second center making $8 million a year on a long-term contract now. That's a huge pickup. They went out and got Sam Reinhart, one of the best goal scorers in the league.
From Buffalo.
Like those guys were available. Like Carolina and many other teams in the league could have tried to make trades for those players, and it didn't happen. So, like I said, I give Bill Zito and his staff a lot of credit, and I know, listen, they're no different than anyone else. They use all, they're heavily invested in the analytics of the game. There's no question. You want information. But what I think they have there, what I really like and appreciate, is that Bill Zito went out and brought in guys like Les Jackson, who had been an assistant GM for many, many years in Dallas and different places, and different people, Rick Dudley, and he's got this like cast of consigliaries that go around, and like I've talked to Bill about it. Like, they get together, they have some good old fashioned arguments about players, and in the end, Bill has to make a decision. But I think that's still valuable, and I think Bill Zito's willingness to not be insecure and to bring those people in, and to the ownership there, the Viola family, to pay those guys to be on staff, that's valuable experience in helping find players that can help their team. I don't think it's an accident that they've been able to find guys to plug in. Even like a Nate Schmidt they bring in last year. He's a helpful player. Like they've added people that have been helpful players. So I think that's all part of it. So that's why when I talk about like the Yankees or the Hurricanes, I think sometimes they're a little too stubbornly dug into their own philosophy and not willing to incorporate some other thinking as well. That's all I would say.
But in fairness, the last 2 years they went out and got Jake Gensel, biggest fish at the deadline. Unfortunately, we all know. I mean, I know what happened.
Winger.
They blew it.
Winger.
Winger. But they blew that. He should have stayed.
Yeah.
They blew that, and they went after Mikko Rantanen. Yes, another winger. Nobody wants to give Carolina
winger.
centers, apparently.
The
Hurricanes,
that's why you got to dig in. You got to dig in and find that guy. And that's the other thing too. Is think about Bennett and Reinhart. What do they have in common? What they have in common is they were high draft picks that just didn't work out. In the various, sometimes you have to. That's another thing to think about. Like, those guys aren't drafted second and fourth overall because people were, people didn't think they were any good. I mean, they were highly thought of guys. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out, But that's when guys become available, right, Adam? Is like you're not getting guys. When guys are playing great, nobody's giving them to you.
Right.
But you have to be in that battle when you see guys that are in different places that just it's not working out. Maybe you go out and you try. You have to take some shots, I guess is what I'm saying. And and it's tough because we just talked about Mikko Rantanen, right? Like Carolina's not for everybody, just like New York's not for everybody, just like LA's not for everybody. So that's another thing that plays into it that works against you sometimes. So they've done a great job. They have a great franchise there. They're in the battle all the time. I think they could easily win that division again this year. They could easily get to the conference final. I think that's the ticket. You win the Metro, you can get to the conference final because the Metro's not as hard a pass as long as the Rangers aren't around, because the Rangers seem to always beat Carolina when it matters. But that's
not
the
in the
path,
bubble.
and they can get there again.
We took care of them in the bubble.
Get past that. What's that?
We took care of them in the bubble.
Now there you go. That's true. And that was a quick bubble for the Rangers.
I
don't even know if they wanted to be there. The funny thing about that division to me is you guys beat the Devils like 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. And then you don't beat the Rangers really in those big games, and the Devils can beat the Rangers. So it's one of those things. But Carolina's got a really good team. I expect them to be in the battle for the President's Trophy. I expect them to be in the battle to win the division. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're in the conference final. So we're going to fast forward to May, and you know what? Maybe if Florida's there, and like we said, if Barkov's still not playing, maybe they're a little more beatable. But when the time comes, we won't know until the time comes, and you got to hope you stay healthy and you have the kind of year that we're talking about.
Well, I hope to sit down with you here in June and have more deep
wonderful.
It would be wonderful just to sit down with you anywhere. EJ Hradek, I appreciate your time. This was fun, and I hope for people
we stirred
enlightening.
it up a little bit, right? We stirred it up a little bit, and I got.
I don't disagree with anything you said.
That's all right.
See, I figured we caught you on a bad day. We caught you on a day where you're lost in your Yankee feels.
It's just every year. This is like the Canes fan and me. Like we're in simpatico because every year it's the same story. We have this high expectation, and then we get beat in the same fashion. So anyway,
but at least by a different team, though. How did you feel about the Blue Jays playing New York in the locker room, and then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. mocking John Sterling with his "The Yankees lose"? That was terrible. That was fun. But
Listen. I'm happy for the Blue Jays because they're like. I'm watching the show Task on HBO, right? And the main character is a bird watcher, and he's talking about these vagrant birds that disappear from the flock, and
right.
The bottom line is the Blue Jays are like a vagrant bird. Every 10 years they have a good year. And so let them have their fun, like Vladdy Guerrero. Like next year, Vladdy Guerrero will be 15 pounds overweight again, over what he already is. And, he'll struggle against bad teams and he won't get the most out of his potential. And the Blue Jays will struggle. And I mean, they're having their fun. This is their once a decade run. And good for them. They played good baseball. You couldn't get that Clement out ever. They had really good approaches at the plate.
He hit 600 in the series.
Game yesterday. Everybody, the pitchers, one after another. John Schneider, really good manager. Donnie Baseball, what is he doing on the Blue Jays? Is in their dugout. But give them credit, the Blue Jays. That people wanted. This is their moment. Give them credit.
That's fantastic, EJ. You're the best, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Adam. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much, EJ. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was funny. All right. I'm sorry. All right, let's is it do we have time to get people their survivor pick of the week, Victoria?
Sure, we can do that. Why not? Why not?
I'm just laughing. We opened the can and EJ unloaded on the Blue Jays.
Yes.
That was so funny.
That's okay.
That was so good.
It happens. When you become a fan of something, that happens.
Look, I didn't know EJ was a Yankees fan. That's the thing. Yeah. That is so good. That is so funny. All right. It is time to get people their survivor pool. The HOBAG system will get you through week 6 of the NFL. And let us tell you, we remind you, in week 1, we had Denver beating Tennessee. In week 2, Arizona over Carolina. Week 3, Seattle over New Orleans. Buffalo beating New Orleans in week 4. Indianapolis beating the Raiders last week. If you're in a survivor pool, you got to have a system. It makes it better, right? It makes it easier. It removes the element of doubt. You have to have a plan. You got to stick to it. So, number 1 in the HOBAG system, home teams only. I realize 8 of 13 road teams won last week. I get it. It happens. Do me this favor. If you're in a survivor pool, especially if you're in that Vegas one where you paid $1,000 to get in and you're trying to win $18.5 million, eliminate the doubt. Take home teams only. Stay out of division games because you get games like San Francisco and the Rams last week that just go, how did that happen? It's because division games are weird. How about the Bills at home to the Patriots? Stay away from division games. You'll thank me later. Let the betting lines guide you. Can't always be the case. Sometimes sometimes there are no big spreads. Like what is in week 1, I think the biggest spread was like 6.5. There's usually 1 or 2 bigger spreads.
Well, I think Vegas also learned about the Buffalo Bills because they were pumping out like 15.5, and they're not doing that
against New Orleans.
Yeah, they're not.
They
doing
didn't
that
cover, but for us, all they got to do is win. We don't care if they cover.
Mm-hmm.
We just want them to win. So let the betting lines guide you. HOB. 4, avoid saving teams. If you want to save a team, you'll never use them because saving teams will just get you beat. Oh, I'll use the Lions in week 11. You ain't getting to week 11. Take them to make sure you get to week 6 or week 7 because we're about to get into week 6. And 5, good teams only. Don't pick a bad team on their field. Although we did take Arizona, I didn't realize how bad they were until they nearly blew that game against the Panthers. But stay with good teams. Home teams only. H. Out-of-division games only. O. Betting lines will guide you. B. Avoid saving teams. A. Good teams only. G. HOBAG system. There are 2 games this week. Cincinnati at Green Bay. That's the big spread. That is a very, very big spread. Cincinnati at Green Bay. And the Packers are 14.5-point favorites. That's the big spread. The other biggest spread, I think, is the Rams, who are on the road in Baltimore. Think about this, Victoria. The Rams are 7.5-point road favorites in Baltimore.
It's a lot.
Are you kidding me?
Baltimore was hot garbage last week.
Yeah, very much. Very much so. Denver's a big favorite against the Jets in London, and had we not taken Denver earlier this year, Denver would be a good pick. The Colts are also big favorites at home against the Cardinals. That would also be a good pick, but we have taken both of those teams. So we have just 2 real options this week. You've got Cincinnati at Green Bay, where the Packers are 14.5-point favorites, and you've got the Bears in Washington against the Commanders, where Washington is a 4.5-point favorite. That is a small line for me. That game has sucker written all over it. So I'm going to follow HOBAG. I'm going to let the betting line guide me. I'm going to try to remove all doubt here. The Bengals are trash, even though Joe Flacco has already beaten the Packers this year. Of course, they needed a blocked field goal to do it. And we're going to go with Green Bay over Cincinnati, the HOBAG selection for Week 6. We haven't taken Green Bay yet, right? Just want to make sure that hasn't been the case. So, no, we have not. So Green Bay at home over Cincinnati is the HOBAG selection of the week. All right, there we go. And I'll let you know how many people are left in that Las Vegas pool because that thing is fascinating. When we come back, we will stretch. We will place bets on, I'm sure, tonight's game at Lenovo Center. Next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck. He scores! The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And Thursday night, we begin the next week of the NFL. And boy, do we have something good for you. It is FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, and you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. All you got to do, pick an anytime touchdown scorer. Jackson Dart from the Giants, why not? Before the game kicks off, if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you win your bet plus a share of the bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get started now. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus is issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There's no time like fair time, y'all. The 2025 NC State Fair runs October 16th to 26th in Raleigh and is jam-packed with fun for the whole family. Come enjoy tasty eats, free entertainment, livestock competitions, giant pumpkins, nightly fireworks, and so much more. This year's NC State Fair is the event you can't miss. Bring your friends, bring your family, and make memories that you'll be talking about till next year. Get your discounted tickets today at ncstatefair.org.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
We had to exit the home pretty quickly because of how quickly the water came in. It was just really vital to me whenever all the public service announcements were going out, that we needed to get our water tested.
We need to, get in the field and start helping people disinfect their water supplies.
It's really critical to their health to be able to have that safe drinking water.
They were reaching out to me to make sure that I knew that there were resources available.
NC Public Health, everywhere, every day, everyone.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Is he married to a person or just himself? Because I feel like that's very Aaron Rodgery of him to have the twist in there.
It's a very good question.
Oh, I don't know. We still don't know if it's a person.
Would he get down on one knee to ask himself over an ayahuasca?
Yes.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. EJ Hradek was on fire today. Absolutely on fire. Go check that out. Now, because I am not in studio, Victoria, does that that doesn't make the podcast, does it?
What do you mean? No, it'll be up there. And
Oh,
plus
will it?
it's
Okay.
on and plus it's on YouTube, so you know.
Oh, perfect.
Anybody
So throw
can-
it out. Oh, man.
Anybody can
EJ
see
was
it.
great.
Everything's on YouTube. There's everything there.
Look, I mean, Carolina's, that's why you have $10.5 million worth of cap space. You can address issues. We'll see if they get to, let's say, January and February and decide to do that. Because they'll have the opportunity to do that more than just about every other team that figures to be in the mix. All right, before we place bets, here we go. It's time to stretch.
Oh, yeah, this one is about if you want to make a little extra money and maybe spook yourself. Give yourself the goosies, as we've been on the theme for today. Then I've got just the thing for you. Also, if you wanted to potentially be tempted into gambling, this is also a good thing for you. Because,
By the way, I have Bill Belichick betting lines.
oh, do you?
I do. Yeah, we'll get to
I
those.
was wondering that that was kind of a joke yesterday, but now not so much. But
No.
there is actually the oldest and possibly most haunted hotel in Las Vegas that wants people to basically get spooked out. They want people to come into this hotel and kind of document themselves and see if there's any hauntings, creepy things, ghosts inside, all of this stuff. And if you do it and they pick you, you could get $5,000. So to me, that's
Nice.
that's a good little chunk of change for doing all of this stuff. So it's called the El Cortez Hotel and Casino. And like I mentioned, they're offering $5,000 for someone who will spend a weekend in this creepy old hotel in Las Vegas. They say they're going to equip you with all the ghost hunting gear that you need, things like EMF meters, EVP recorders, flashlights, thermal sensors, who knows, all the things. Even if you don't know how to use it, they'll give it to you. So they want you to look at all the creepy corners, document everything, take pictures, videos, also write down any of your encounters, funny or creepy, mysterious, all of the above. And you can fill out the application at casino.org. And they are accepting it until not too long. They say once they announce a winner, you'll have 5 days basically to plan your trip and get out there. So you have to also be able to drop everything.
Gotcha.
So
I like it.
That may exclude some people. But this $5,000 prize includes $800 towards airfare and travel, $500 to cover food, drinks, and the ghost hunting equipment. So if you're interested in going to Las Vegas and getting creeped out, then there you go, which you could probably do on any weekend. But if you want to maybe make $5,000 while doing it, you can do that too. Or maybe, just maybe, you could place a really good bid.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All righty, let's just get right to it. Oh, before we start, actually, no, I'm going to use them as one of my bets. So let's get right to it, Victoria. You go first.
Hey, my Blue Jays bet came through yesterday, plus
It
145.
did. I know you tweeted it out, or you
No, that was
texted it
just
to me.
that was just a text, yeah. And I picked the Tigers, but dang it, I took the under, so it was definitely not the under.
Tigers scored down 3-0, scored 9 times.
I know, exactly.
Came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, but tonight we have a Canes home opener of the regular season. So excited. And you know what? I keep going back and forth between whether I want Aho or Taylor Hall to be my anytime goal scorer, but I'm going to go with Taylor Hall because, I don't know, he comes clutch sometimes. So give me Taylor Hall anytime goal scorer, and that is plus 400. It's a lot.
Taylor Hall, anytime goal scorer, plus, frankly, it should be This should be longer odds than that. 400 is almost not good enough value. Jordan Stahl should have, they should be similar. I think they'll probably score pretty close to the same number of goals this year. But I think Jordan Stahl is going to have a monster year. All right, let's get to this. I'm going to give you a 4-leg parlay, 4 division winners that if you put $5 on right now, you're going to turn that $5 into almost $250. In the Metro, Carolina wins. In the Atlantic, Tampa Bay. In the Central, Colorado. In the West, Vegas. It is plus 46-43. That's where you're going.
Nice.
That's where you're going. All right.
Good old
you
parlay.
Go.
There might even be a boost somewhere. Next up, I know we haven't really talked about it much today, but there's a football game on tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Philadelphia Eagles are in New York taking on the Giants. I think the Eagles, they're likely to play with their food because that's sometimes what they do, but they'll end up winning.
Sometimes.
I think, yeah. I think they'll end up winning, and I'm going to take the Eagles and the over 40.5 because they'll probably score 30 in the last quarter. Plus 130.
That's pretty good. All right. Right now on FanDuel, the Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup plus 950. They are tied with the Avalanche as the 4th choice. Florida's still the favorite on FanDuel, plus 750. Edmonton and Dallas are next at plus 800 and 850 respectively. Carolina and Colorado at plus 950 are the joint 4th choices. Let's take the Hurricanes. By the way, if you parlay all of those together, it is plus 24,204 right now. That $5 wager would net over $1,000.
Oh, nice.
I'm piling it all up.
Exactly. You're getting your 5Gs without going to Vegas. And last up, I am not touching my Cubbies game, but let's go Cubbies. So the only other one that I'm going to look at right now is the Phillies and Dodgers. I think the Dodgers will close it out at home. Give me the Dodgers to win, and I will take under 8 plus 195. That always gets me.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to come back, and I'm going to give you another wager, but I can tell you this right now. Offshore, you can bet on Bill Belichick to not finish the season for Carolina. You can do that. I'll tell you how next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It is time for the Thursday touchdown jackpot with FanDuel. For tonight's game, Philadelphia at the Giants, you could win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Pick an anytime touchdown scorer. How about Cam Scatterbo at plus 130? And if he scores either the first or the last touchdown, you win your bet, plus you get a share of $2 million in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold for FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus is issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
When it comes to mixing drugs, you may think you have a safe approach, but the bottom line is, mixing drugs is never safe. It can cause serious health problems like a heart attack or brain damage. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Member Week is back at Lowe's with big savings for pros. Now through October 15th, My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, tools, building materials, and more. Plus, get free standard shipping. Shop these exclusive member-only savings before they're gone. Not a rewards member? Join for free today. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Carolina setting up now. Blake whipped across. They score! Oh, beautiful. Tic-tac, Nadeau. Carolina with a power play goal. The Trip Tracy reverse jinx works, and it's 2-1 Carolina. 5:02 left in the second. Now here's a shot up front. The score! Oh, Carolina Stankoven creates the turnover and then ripped into the slot. Bradley Nadeau with the shot. His second of the game, and it's 3-1 Carolina.
That was not a preseason release by Bradley Nadeau. That is a flat-out NHL release and finish.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. It's been rip-roaring already. John Buccigross, who will be on the call for ESPN. We will chat with him for a few minutes. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll do that. Michael Leboff of the New York Post will drop by, and we'll look at the betting angle for the Eastern Conference and the NHL. We like to do that with Mike, and he will join us coming up in about a little bit more than a half hour. We will do that. We'll get the wall of sound. But speaking of betting angles, I told you that offshore you can wager on whether or not Bill Belichick will finish the season as UNC's head coach. And we are going to give you those numbers in just a little bit right after we do the wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's start right here at Lenovo Center. Game when we talked to EJ Hradek, right? Canes built for the regular season. Well, Rod looks at the regular season as the marathon, right? You're getting yourself right, getting yourself in position. So what about game one? How does Rod look at it?
No, you're looking for the same things. I think
maybe there's a little more grace in game 1 than there would be in game 30, meaning, there's a mistake here or there by maybe a newer player or whatever, just because, it takes a little time to totally get comfortable, but no, we expect the same things.
Yeah, the Rod Brind'Amour said earlier today that this is all about building consistency. And the habits that you form, game 1 through game 82, and anybody that's been a fan of this team over this now into 8-year run, you can probably count on one hand the night where the effort hasn't been there. That's what separates Carolina from a lot of teams, to be honest, because there are almost 0 nights where they don't have it in terms of the effort. You don't always have your execution. Sometimes you don't always play well, but they always play hard. You could say, you can just about guarantee if you're bringing somebody to a hockey game, you're going to see an honest effort out of the Carolina Hurricanes. And those things build consistency, and they form habits. And then when you get to the playoffs, other things do come in, and we talked about that with E.J. Hradek, where Carolina has fallen short at times. Sometimes it's goaltending. Sometimes it's not being able to get that particular goal. And that's what this regular season will be about. Are you in position to take advantage of what you got? And then Carolina has so much cap room. They might be better positioned than anybody to take advantage of that when we get to that part of the season. And there will be a lot of teams who went, yeah, you know what? We're not that good. We're not nearly as good as we thought we were going to be. Who knows? Maybe the Hurricanes can get Sidney Crosby at some point during the season. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, let's get to the other top issue of the day, and that is what is going on at North Carolina. And look, we have a different perspective here than some in the national media because we see it. We're immersed in it every single day. So let's hear a couple of guys from ESPN who have valid points and then some points that probably don't matter all that much. Here's Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike.
Well, if you're not willing to pay me more than the other Power 4 programs and you can't sell me on winning, why would I want to sign up to play for Bill Belichick? That's the thing that you have to ask yourself, because right now at North Carolina, there's a lot of nepotism going on behind the scenes that is creating a lot of friction. I'm not quite sure that there's anybody that has the ability from a decision-making power standpoint to give any pushback to how Bill wants to do things. And it's clear that post-Tom Brady, Bill Belichick is not the same coach that he once was. So if you're a high school player or in the college football landscape as a player, you can't have any degree of confidence that this program is on the right track. So why would you want to entrust your athletic career to Bill Belichick?
All right, now, the end of that makes sense to me because it looks like a train wreck. So why would you want to come here and be part of something that has been dysfunctional? Dysfunctional. And to be honest, over the last, as long as Bill's here, and there's another conversation, but let's just go under the assumption for now that nothing will change with the football program between now and the end of the season. Right? And so they'll right the ship enough where we're coming back for 2026. You could make the argument that they don't look like a place where I can go and get the best out of me. If they right the ship, maybe that we don't have that kind of an issue. The nepotism thing, hey, we can just say they look like they're poorly coached. We don't have to go the nepotism route. Yeah, I know. Steve Belichick's the defensive coordinator. Brian Belichick is also on staff on the defensive side of the ball. I get it. But honestly, there's probably more nepotism with Michael Lombardi as there is, or more than there is with the Belichick kids. All right, here's Clinton Yates from ESPN Radio in that it just never felt right.
It was so plain to see. Oh, y'all don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
You spent the entire offseason and got absolutely dump trucked after one drive of decency. It wasn't that hard to figure out. Matter of fact, I think that's where first the Occam's razor discussion came up on this show. Just look at the obvious example. Nobody is competent in this circumstance, and it was clear and plain to see this is going to be an abject failure from the jump with an old man and his young girlfriend running a program that doesn't even care about anything educationally otherwise either.
All right, that was, I'm not really sure where we were going there. But it did look, and it has looked like, especially against legitimate opponents, that they don't know what they're doing. So it's another bad look. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how, if Bill's going to finish the season. We're going to get to odds in just a second. But assuming that we're status quo through the end of the season, these last 7 games, starting next Saturday, not this Saturday, Carolina's off, starting next Saturday in Berkeley, these next 7 games are super critical in terms of creating a culture, maybe becoming a little bit, showing a little humility. And I'll give you just something that I was thinking about real quick. There's been no media availability this week. By the way, that joint statement from Bill and Bubba Cunningham about how I'm committed to UNC, UNC is committed to Bill, blah, blah, blah. You would have been better off putting nothing out. Not even addressing the rumors. That didn't do anything to calm anybody's fears that this was going to end. It didn't stop people from figuring, oh, no, this is going to end. That did nothing. I wish they should ask us, like, no, that ain't going to do anything. Why even put anything out?
Yeah.
It was just an utter joke. Next week will be the first time Bill Belichick will meet the media since after the Clemson game. I think it's Monday is his normal press conference. That is not going to be a normal Monday game day press conference. Here's what I predict. It will be carried live on ESPN. If they have it, it will be carried live. The national media is going to be in Chapel Hill on Monday. Promise. The circus has just begun. And I'll tell you what, let me just pause from the wall of sound. Maybe we'll get back to it, maybe not. But I want to give you odds, betting odds. This comes from Bet Online. It's an offshore account. You can't wager on any of these things in normal places at FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, ESPN Bet. You can't bet 365. You can't bet on this, with normal betting apps. But offshore betting apps, they can take odds on a lot of different things. So here we have Bill Belichick odds. So let's start here. Will Bill Belichick be coaching UNC in 2026? Victoria, yes, is plus 200.
Oh, wow. Oh,
that's right.
Yikes.
He is the underdog to be coaching UNC in 2026.
Oh, boy.
No is minus 300. Will Belichick be the head coach for the last game this season?
Ooh.
Yes is minus 300. They believe he will finish the season.
Okay.
No is plus 200. All right. Now, UNC total regular season wins. Their record is right now 2-3. Over 3.5 is minus 135. No way I would take that bet. Under 3.5 is plus 105.
Wow.
To me, that's much more likely.
Yeah.
Under 3.5. All right. When will UNC win its first ACC game? They just played their first against Clemson. So, next up is Cal, plus 200. Virginia, plus 250. Syracuse, plus 400. Stanford, plus 425. Wake Forest, plus 800. Duke, plus 1,200. NC State, last game of the season, plus 1,400. There is an option. Do not win a game. and that's plus 1,000.
Wow.
That's my pick.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
They finished 2-10. It is an utter disaster, and the only way to save this whole scenario is for the head coach, maybe the administration, but more the head coach and Michael Lombardi to show some humility and understand and admit the mistakes that were made in this process at the beginning, and maybe explaining, look, we got a late start. We miscalculated how difficult this would be, but we are fully committed to making this work, and being a lot more open and collegial about all of this. You cannot, even Nick Saban gets it, Belichick's good friend, right? You cannot run a college program with college athletes like it's a pro team. You can't. The best example of this, is the way Duke runs the men's basketball program. Yeah, they do some things like pro teams do, travel, things like that. But they are run like a college program. They treat their athletes, their players, like college players. You cannot approach this like you're the pro. I'll tell you where it didn't work. It didn't work at NC State. Sidney Lowe got to State and really wanted to coach the Wolfpack. And I understood it because that's where his experience was as a coach. Right? His experience was, we're going to coach, we're going to draw up plays, these guys are going to run the plays. Sidney Lowe's a really good basketball coach. But college players can't be treated like pros. And I think that's the first and maybe the biggest mistake that Bill Belichick made, was treating the players like pros. All right, should we finish? Let's finish the wall of sound because we do have a couple of things about, one about football and then one about baseball. So Dominique Foxworth from ESPN. We have Eagles hosting the Giants tonight, right?
Yep.
And you said earlier, Victoria, that the Eagles have been playing with their food.
Yes.
I talked about them as the Chiefs. Last year's Chiefs always seemed to like pull the game out of nowhere. And the Eagles started the season this way until they didn't pull this one out. They gave it away. Had a big lead against the Broncos at home and then gave it all back.
Yeah.
We don't see that too often from the Eagles. They tried to, I'm trying to remember the way it worked out against the Rams, but they've been fortunate to win the first, 4 games of the season. Then they lost to Denver. Well, Dominique Foxworth just says, just right now, not that good.
They lead the league in 3 and outs. So, I understand that the only thing that really matters is whether you win or lose. But you have to have a big picture view on this. And I understand Jeff said you don't want to make a mountain out of the molehill. This is a championship caliber team. Mm-hmm. Those stats are not commiserate with a championship caliber team. So they need to get on the same page. I think the meeting is a good idea. I understand that we don't think that meetings necessarily do anything, but getting on the same page means this one thing is the thing we need to do better. Not, I want this, I want that, you do this, you do that. We come, we talk, we fight, we yell, we sit down, we cry, whatever we got to do, understand that next week we're going to do this really well. Then we'll build on that. Just getting on the same page, I think, is the most important thing.
Dominique Foxworth is 100% right. They're still probably the best team. Now, they have some issues, but they're still probably the best team with winning DNA. And if you think that way about the Chiefs, then you should think that way about the Eagles. And there's a lot of people who think that way about the Chiefs. They should have the same opinion of the Eagles. But they have, right now, you're going through it. And we talk about the fact that the NFL, there's 3 different years. There's the beginning, then there's the middle where you tell the world who you are, and then you're just, at the end, you're just trying to get to the finish line, and you're jockeying for position. We'll find out all about the Eagles. I don't know, but the Giants. Giants aren't all that good. We'll find out all about the Eagles over the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. All the way through Thanksgiving, more than likely. Real quick, Rick does point out the Carolina game next week is Friday night, not Saturday night. My mistake for getting that wrong. And finally, as E.J. Hradek, our friend, will attest, The Yankees failed to advance out of the division series in the playoffs, and Aaron Judge, who is still looking, as great as he is, still looking for his first World Series title with the Yankees, talked about it.
It's tough to describe. Yeah, we didn't do our job, didn't finish the goal. Had a special group in here, a lot of special players that made this year fun, but we didn't get the ultimate prize, so we came up short.
Yeah, it wasn't about Aaron Judge not doing his job. His numbers in the playoffs: 13 for 26. That's a .500 batting average. He homered. Remember the home run he hit to tie Game 3, make it a 6-6 game. He homered. He drove in 7. He only struck out 5 times. He drew 4 walks. He doubled twice. He had a double in the 9th inning to keep the Yankees alive. His OPS was .1273 in 7 postseason games. It wasn't because of Aaron Judge, but the Yankees fall short again. But again, you keep getting there, you will eventually knock that door down. John Buccigross from ESPN, who is on site for the game tonight, will join us next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and New Jersey.
Kotkaniemi shoots and scores! Svechnikov puts it onto the tape, and Kotkaniemi whistles it past Tarasov.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7:30.
Shut up for the score on the power play. Logan Stankoven with the net front.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Who doesn't love getting some fresh air on a beautiful day? I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and sometimes grabbing the motorcycle, taking a random ride through some back roads, and soaking up that fresh air is just what the doctor ordered. And of course, it's always important to make sure that everything's operating correctly on your bike, you have your protective gear on, but unfortunately, you can't always avoid an accident. So if you're ever in a wreck on your motorcycle, make sure to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they are just like us. They're riders, so they understand. They get the value of your bike, your gear, and what it's like to go through an accident. The insurance company just wants to pay you the least amount possible, so case evaluations are always free at Law Tigers, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
This party's getting crazy! Are those mini horses? And there's a build-your-own fireworks bar? Ah! Heads up! Whoa, and they've got the new ultimate blowout scratch-offs! Okay, now it's a party!
With $250, $500, and $5,000 prizes, the ultimate blowout scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are exploding with wins. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.26. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please. Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours. Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank. Member FDIC.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. ESPN's John Buccigross in a matter of moments. Man, we have had no shortage of interesting, difficult, complicated, complex stories, whether it's about UNC football or anything, or the Carolina Hurricanes over the last several months. Michael McLeod, whom Carolina was heavily rumored to be interested in, and actually the expectation was that they would sign Michael McLeod. And we reported last week confirmed that after others reported that the team and McLeod would not be reaching an agreement on a contract. And there's a lot of ways you can speculate what happened, whatever. The only thing that we know is it's not happening. Well, Michael McLeod signed with the KHL's Avangard Omsk today, signed a 3-year contract. I do not have terms of that contract. I don't care what the terms of that contract are, other than he signed a 3-year deal. Now, he played about 20 games with them a year ago as he was getting himself back into hockey and, awaiting the outcome of the trial, a trial at which he and the other 4 players who were co-defendants were acquitted. Anyway, it is now a completely closed chapter because Michael McLeod is in the KHL, and he will be there for the next 3 years, I'm guessing. But he will not be a Carolina Hurricane. None of the players will play for the Carolina Hurricanes. And by the way, we are, 6 days away from October 15th to find out if any of them, Carter Hart, maybe with Vegas, will sign a contract. All right. The game is a radio-only game, Canes and Devils tonight, because the folks at ESPN are here, and John Buccigross is going to be your play-by-play host on the TV tonight. And I caught up with him at the morning skate to talk about a legacy that he didn't even realize that he was starting. John Buccigross. All right, you have, by the way, the Bucci Overtime Challenge. When you started that, did you think that would ever carry the legs that it has now?
No way. We're coming up on I think 14 years. I probably shouldn't know the exact year. I think it's 2011 or 2012. Just threw it up there as a joke. Instantly I saw all the traffic. I mean, that's interesting. It really became a mini phenomenon the first spring. Then I said, maybe I'll make T-shirts and hats and we'll give the money away to charity, And sure enough, it just kept building. Then I sold that first year I had stuff, T-shirt. I sold $20,000 worth of T-shirts in December. 1 month for Christmas season. It became a real hot thing.
Paid for the whole holiday.
And I often joke, I regret that I made that charitable statement because I could have paid off my mortgage by now. I've sold probably over $1 million worth of hats and T-shirts from my house, between the Bucci stuff and the college hockey stuff, which is another brand that kind of has also sustained itself. So, again, they don't quite buy the merch as much as they used to.
Sure.
Because it was more like a fashion. It was just a hot thing to have. and the kids like to have the hot, whether it's music or fashion, and then it goes away. But it trickles out, but it's still been very satisfying to connect with fans and to have people. I now have NHL players come up and see me and say, I played the Booch Overtime Challenge when I was a kid. Matthew Barzal has said that. So that's really cool because these guys are, I call them all my third sons. I have two sons. They're 33 and 26. So basically the NHL players, I call them all my third sons. I root for them. I want them to do well. I want them to be happy. I want them to succeed. So they really have been linked to that generation, the last decade, the 2010 to 2020 decade, when these guys really grew up not with television like we did.
Right.
They grew up with social media.
Do you have any local college jerseys?
North Carolina State sent me a jersey for sure. I don't think I have a North Carolina
Icepack's pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. So, it's the phenomenon of club hockey, especially in the South, is really probably an underreported thing, really, your average hockey fan, I don't think really understand it exists. That these, why the SEC hasn't started a hockey conference by now. But there's no doubt in my mind, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20, at some point, LSU, Georgia, they realize these will make money. They're profitable. The only sports that make money on campus really are football and basketball for the most part. Some of these baseball schools probably make money. Volleyball schools, the women's volleyball in Penn State, obviously they make money. Nebraska.
93,000 at the outdoor stadium, right? Yeah.
And now, but hockey, when Penn State first got hockey, the only sports on campus that made money were football and basketball. Nothing else made money. Then hockey came along, and they're getting $6,500 a night. Now they're making money. So I think over time this sport's going to grow, and the clubs. Because I always say, why would a kid want to play Division III hockey in northern Vermont, where it's sunlight for 20 minutes a day in the winter, when you can come down here and play good competitive club hockey on a big campus setting, warm weather, and in cool parts of the South to go visit. So it's club hockey is a great aspect of our sport.
John Buccigross is joining us. You've got the game tonight. It's like a staple. We seem to have you guys here in the opener all the time.
Yeah.
Hurricanes are betting favorites for what that matters. What are your thoughts on the team that we see on the ice in front of us?
Well, ESPN.com always hits us up for our predictions. I think we pick all the division winners, just 4 of them, and then a couple of the big awards, and then the Stanley Cup champion. And I picked the Hurricanes. They were my pick. The East is wide open. The Devils do not play well here. I think they're 0-9-1 their last 10, maybe 2-15-1 their last 18 or something. So they don't like this rink. They have not played well. These two met, of course, last year in the postseason without Jack Hughes, though. So Hughes is back. He hasn't played a game since last March, the best player on the Devils. But, I like what the Canes did in the winter. The East is really wide open right now with the Barkov injury and the Tkachuk late arrival. Florida probably in the end will still be the betting favorites when the playoffs begin because they still have a good team. But, one more injury, and it's going to be tough for them, the season didn't even start, and they were down 2 guys. Guys will get nicked up a bit. So, I like the Canes team. We'll see how Keandre Miller fits. I think he could have a Brady Shea type effect when Shea came here. Shea's best years probably will always be here. He probably misses this style of play. Now, just because it might not fit Miller, who knows? We'll find out tonight, the start tonight. But, I like the team.
Yeah, I think it's a good team. I was asked today, what's the one guy that has to have the year? And it was the guy that had the first 2 rounds last year. To me, this team will go as far as Andrei Svechnikov plays in the playoffs.
You're right. He really needs to become that 35-goal horse. He's still you forget how young he is. It's like every year it's like, that's right, he's only 21. Oh, that's right. Oh, he's almost 22. Oh, he's only 24. So now it's time to go.
Yeah.
And, because they don't have that franchise, obviously, elite player. But obviously, Aho is very good. But Svechnikov needs to be very good. He needs to be Adrian Kempe. He needs to be Marty Necas.
Yeah.
He needs to produce like 70 to 80
Marty
points.
Necas.
Unbelievable.
I'm a huge fan of Necas, who had 2 goals the other night. Like, he's looking for a contract. I don't want to talk about him now.
Yeah. No, he bet on himself, right? And he was right, because he's going to get a huge contract. I'm sure the Canes offered 8 years times 7, whenever that was.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I think I might be 9. Now he's like 10 or 11 now because of this cap that everyone seems to be surprised, even though Gary Bettman told us it's going up.
Yeah.
But all these guys locked in for 8-year deals were like, damn, why'd I do that? I should have waited.
What about Seth Jarvis is on less than 7.5?
What a great deal that's going to be, right?
Yeah.
He's going to turn into like an $11 million player, and they have him. They're going to save $4 million on him for 7 years. And that's going to make the Canes better. They're going to be able to add these guys. And we know they're an aggressive organization who wants to win. The owner's very aggressive. So they're in a real good position here as this cap goes up. They've locked up Stankoven, locked up Jarvis. Aho is, he's also locked up.
7 years.
7 more years.
Yep.
Svechnikov has a couple to prove himself. So who knows? Maybe if he has a good year this year, they might try to get him as that kind of a lower number if they think, okay, maybe he is going to be a 35-year-old goal guy.
Well, they still have 4 years left on the deal now. They can't do anything.
Exactly. So either they'll be happy to pay him more or they'll just let him go, right? And they'll try. So, yeah, they're in a really good position as an organization as they try to spruce up the arena, try to get things going here. And so we'll see.
Come back for the next outdoor game.
Yes. Oh, man, I'd love to. I love Carolina. I've been coming here since spring break in college with my buddy when Charlotte was a sleepy little town back in the 80s. And I love the Pines. I love the feeling of Carolina. I love James Taylor singing about Carolina, Copper Line. And in my mind, I'm going to Carolina. So, yeah, it's my kind of place. Thanks.
John Buccigross, he'll do the call on ESPN and Hulu tonight. Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy will have the call on the radio. And if you are wondering, we are 4 hours away, just inside of 4 hours away from the pregame show on the radio. Stormwatch will start at 6:30. It's a 7:30 face-off, 7:38 face-off. And it's opening night, and everybody's got opening night feels, if you will. I think the team's going to be really good. E.J. Hradek does point out earlier, we talked to him, points out some flaws that he has seen, and I don't think he is wrong. John Buccigross, in picking Carolina to win the Stanley Cup, I think he said that, I think believes that they will address whatever shortcomings that they have during, between now and the trade deadline. And the truth of the matter is they are probably better suited to address those shortcomings than any of the good teams because they've got so much cap room. Team the Hurricanes are playing tonight, the New Jersey Devils, at some point are going to have to shed players to get under the cap. No joke. They're going to have to shed players to get under the salary cap. And they'll also have to deal with things when they get to the playoffs because we don't have the unlimited cap like we have had in the playoffs. In the playoffs this year, you're going to have to be cap compliant. So Hurricanes, who have $10.5 million in cap space today, are in better shape than just about everybody else in the league. All right, when we come back, Mike Leboff from the New York Post, and we will take a wagering look at the NHL, the Metro, and the Hurricanes next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Medicare open enrollment period runs through December 7th. This is your annual opportunity to review your Medicare health plan or Medicare prescription drug plan and make sure you're getting the best coverage to meet your needs for the next year. Be sure to review your Medicare, your handbook, and the annual notice of change from your current plan. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And Thursday night, we begin the next week of the NFL. And boy, do we have something good for you. It is FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, and you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. All you got to do, pick an anytime touchdown scorer. Jackson Dart from the Giants, why not? Before the game kicks off, if your player scores the first or last touchdown of the game, you win your bet plus a share of the bonus bets. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get started now. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
There's no time like fair time, y'all. The 2025 NC State Fair runs October 16th to 26th in Raleigh and is jam-packed with fun for the whole family. Come enjoy tasty eats, free entertainment, livestock competitions, giant pumpkins, nightly fireworks, and so much more. This year's NC State Fair is the event you can't miss. Bring your friends, bring your family, and make memories that you'll be talking about till next year. Get your discounted tickets today at ncstatefair.org.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You don't need a 4-year degree to have a rewarding career that makes a difference in people's lives every day. As a public power line worker, you'll build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system to keep the lights on in your community. 4 months in a community college program provides the training you need to begin your career as an apprentice line worker in public power. And being a local government employee in North Carolina comes with excellent benefits. To learn more about line worker and other public power careers, visit electricities.com.
When people put their feet under a table, it means more than just consuming food. Getting the restaurant back open, that meant to the community a lot of normalcy. The public health department checked the wells so that we knew where we could get water that was able to be used.
And it was neighbor helping neighbor, and I'm so proud to work in this little small county.
NC Public Health. Everywhere, every day, everyone.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
Feeling like a hurricane. Very taking me back. We have a brand new hashtag for Carolina Hurricanes hockey this season. Gone is raise up, which I liked, if for no other reason than it was just 7 characters plus the hashtag. Now we have Carolina Culture, which is more than 7 characters.
It's a lot.
I think it's twice as many, right? Carolina.
Yeah, it's going to take up half the tweet
7,
now.
8. Oh my, it's good. I don't need more things to do.
Mm-mm.
But that's the new hashtag. Let's see. Maybe the new hashtag will bring different postseason success. Let's talk to Michael Leboff at the Big Lebowski on Twitter from the New York Post and the Islanders Anxiety Podcast. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I would say welcome to hockey season, except that hockey season started 2 days ago. How are you, my friend?
I'm stoked, Adam. Yeah, happy hockey season to you and everybody down there. It should be quite a season for you guys. But, yeah, I'm excited. I had the Penguins pegged for that underdog win against the Rangers, so got off to a good start, but lost on the Canadians last night. So 1-1 out of the gates.
Hey, 1-1. You got a good value, I'm sure, out of the Penguins, so it doesn't matter. Real quick, it's never a bad night for you as an Islanders fan when the Rangers lose.
Yeah, and I mean I couldn't believe that price on the Penguins. Near 2-1 opening night against a Rangers team that all last season looked kind of like they wanted to be anywhere else but at the hockey rink, and that's exactly like what they looked like on Tuesday night. So, yes, it was a good start to the season for sure for the Islanders.
All right, let's talk about the Metropolitan Division. Right now, I'm just looking at FanDuel. FanDuel's got the Hurricanes at plus 115. I think the Devils are like plus 280 to win the Metro. How do you see this division?
Yeah, there's one team you didn't mention there that I think is probably the team that I'd be most worried about if I was a Hurricanes fan, and that's Washington. And I know there's a lot of people calling for some sort of regression with the Capitals. So many players had career years for them, but they do have some youth coming through the system. They've got a wonderful head coach, and the defensive work they did last year was so good that they should be a pretty high floor team. So I don't disagree that the Canes should be the runaway favorite, but I would actually have Washington as their biggest foe rather than New Jersey.
Really? I love what what are the Devils missing? I know you like Washington. We'll get to them in a second. What are the Devils missing in your eyes that would make Washington a better pick at number 2?
So it's actually not what they're missing right now, but what I think they could be missing later in the season, which is they rarely get healthy seasons out of their most important players, right? Jack Hughes misses chunks of year basically every year. Dougie Hamilton, same thing. We don't know about Luke Hughes, but he was already dealt some injuries early in his career. Nico Heischer's missed time. It's just there's just some teams where if you're relying on too many of those type of players, you're really playing with fire. And if the Devils lose one, which I think is certainly something that can happen, and obviously can happen to any team, but they're in a lot of trouble. They don't have the depth, I think, or the system that kind of would help paper over those cracks. We saw that last year where they were pretty much non-competitive down the stretch and then against the Hurricanes. So, I'd be pretty concerned for the Devils if relative to like where they're being priced and their expectations.
Yeah, Devils at plus 280. Washington right now is plus 700 to win the Metropolitan Division. You talk about so many guys had career years. Everybody except for Alexander Ovechkin. Literally everybody on the team had career highs in goals, points, shooting percentages. It's amazing. But if they get young players to fill that in, then they don't have to get those performances. I mean, I have them missing the playoffs, but you're way more of an expert at this than I am. So what do I know? Who do you think is most likely to surprise if one of these teams doesn't finish in the top 3? Who do you think is the most likely Metropolitan Division team to finish inside the top 3?
Well, I think the Islanders and Blue Jackets, they both profile to me as teams with decently high ceilings but pretty low floors. For the Blue Jackets, you're hoping that Jet Greaves is the real deal in goal.
Right.
You hope that Zach Werenski has another standout season, and that their young forward group continues to take step forwards. But and then for the Islanders, you're just hoping that the defense can hold up. They're very deep up front. Their blue line looks to me pretty shoddy. So if Schaefer steps in well and the goaltending's there, maybe that helps provide some cover for the blue line. But that'd be my biggest concern. So I think that those would be the two that could surprise. But I do think that it'll be pretty tough sledding to get ahead of Carolina, Washington, and New Jersey for teams like that.
Michael Leboff from the New York Post is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Who do you like coming out of the East?
There's so many people on that Tampa Bay bandwagon, right? Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff in their numbers. They've obviously got the high-end guys. We know that Vasilevsky can be a Vezina caliber goalie. They've got a great coach. So I understand why a lot of people are going that way with the Lightning. And I think the Atlantic could be less robust, I guess, than it has been in years past. But I'll go off the board a little bit. I'll say that the Senators figure it out and surprise people, because I think the ceiling is there for Ottawa, right? Like, this is a team that has the scoring. They were very good defensively last year, and they've got 2 good goalies. So I think that Ottawa is now, like, they're not going to be underrated in terms of, hey, they're a playoff team, but they could be underrated in terms of how high their ceiling actually is. So I'll go off the board and say Ottawa comes out of the East.
Plus 1,500 right now on FanDuel. I think I looked at on DraftKings, Florida was like the 5th choice. I think to win the Stanley Cup, I think they were at plus 1,100. What do you think about Florida? I know no Alexander Barkov. They won't get Matthew Tkachuk back until My guess is first of the year before he actually plays. And who knows? Maybe he doesn't even play until after the Olympics. What's your take on Florida?
Yeah, I think that they're, people forget, like, they kind of mishmashed through the regular season last year, too. They weren't this dominant force until the playoffs started. So I trust that they'll be able to manage themselves, pick up the wins that they need to win, get into the playoffs, and then hopefully they've got their full lineup back. So I'd be pretty wary of picking against them, but at the same time, obviously you can see how this comes undone for them with the injuries. But I would say that they're much more of a buy team than a sell team for me, considering their prices right now.
All right, let's go to the West, and then I'll ask you for your MVP pick, and then we'll say goodbye. I know we will talk often throughout the season. Mike Leboff at the Big Lebowski on Twitter from the New York Post. Who's winning? Who do you like, and what is a good value pick to win the Stanley Cup?
I like. If odds aside, I'd pick Vegas to come out of the West. I just think that they are now such a high floor, high ceiling team. They're built for the playoffs. If Marner and Eichel click, look out. And of course they'll be aggressive throughout the season to bolster the lineup. But if you were throwing in odds and asking me for my favorite value pick, just generally, I think Vancouver is being disrespected, and I actually don't hate a bet on them across the board, whether you want to play to make the playoffs, win the West, or win the Stanley Cup. Just they tick every box you look for in a potential contender and a potential sleeper. They've got good goaltending tandem. They've got a terrific. They've got good depth. They've got obviously a star in Quinn Hughes who should help a terrific blue line. So I think that Vancouver to me is the type of team that their highs are very high, their lows have been very low in recent years, and I think that if they can click, like, they're very dangerous as long as they stay healthy. So I know people will point to that number 2 center spot, but I think that they can address that, or maybe Philip Hedl stays healthy. So Vancouver is a interesting sleeper.
And they should be at least of sound mind this year. They were certainly not that last year. It was a train wreck from beginning to end. Do you feel good about your Islanders?
Oh boy, I really don't have any expectations for the first time in a long time, which kind of feels liberating. But I think that they're going to be. They might end up where everybody expects, but I don't think they're going to get to that place the way people do. Because, like I said, I think that this team can score with the depth they have up front and the potential with guys like Jonathan Drouin and Max Shabanov and a step forward from Holmstrom and from Siplikov, and a healthy Barzell, of course. Like there's definitely potential for them to score, but I do think that they could be a mess defensively. So we could be looking at a classic fire wagon type team that wins and loses 5-4 on a lot of nights. So that's I'm hoping for the best, obviously, but I'm not expecting the best at all.
And strangely enough, when the Hurricanes and the Islanders have played, there have been a lot of goals in those games. Michael Leboff from the New York Post at the Big Lebowski on Twitter. Sir, my friend, I'll talk to you soon. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Good luck.
You got it. Michael Leboff from the New York Post here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, so we've got a few more minutes here before we get out of here and get you to – I know our friends Tim and Dennis are downstairs. They're on the concourse. I'm sure outside right now is just an absolute madhouse with tailgating, because this is what we do here. We combine the college environment with the hockey, and we have created that kind of a culture. And maybe that is good for the Hurricanes and their new slogan, Carolina culture. So let me just give you a few thoughts about this team as we get ready for the start of the season. Whether Carolina has a good start to the season or not, it's important for certain players, I think, to get off to a good start. It's important, like tonight. if I was thinking about what is the best case scenario aside from a win. Obviously, you want to win the game, and you don't really care how it looks if you win the game. But if I had my pick, Andrei Svechnikov scoring a goal, Nick Ehlers scoring a goal. Even if the Hurricanes, were to lose 3-2 to the Devils tonight, if Svechnikov and Ehlers score, I will take out of that, all right, we got two guys that we want to see on the score sheet more often than not. We get these two guys going. It's not that Nick Ehlers isn't going to be a productive player here. If he stays healthy, and he's not always stayed healthy, but if he stays healthy, if he plays 75 games, he's going to be right around 70 points. He'll be in the neighborhood of 30 goals, and he'll be right in the neighborhood of 70 points. That's fine. But I'm telling you, we talked to Mike Maniscalco about this earlier, and in my opinion, and I think Rod Brind'Amour agrees, if the Hurricanes are going to maximize who they are, when we get to the postseason, now I'm assuming there will be additions to the team. They'll address what they need to address. But Andrei Svechnikov becoming, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be 40 goals and all of that. Andrei's got to play an impactful game that will eventually get him on the score sheet more often than not. But he's got to play an impactful game, and it will lead to all of those things we want to see. If Andrei Svechnikov, it doesn't have to be their best player. It's going to be hard to be a better player than Aho or Jarvis or Slavin and players like that. But if Andrei Svechnikov is just that guy that you notice every shift, in a good way, he's going to take his penalties, he's going to make his mistakes, be a physical player, play a power forward game. He does that. That is a missing piece that Carolina has not had in key situations. We saw it in the first two rounds of the playoff last year. We saw it against New Jersey. We saw it against Washington. We didn't really see it against Florida. We didn't see a lot of good from anybody against Florida. Let's be honest. That was about Florida. And to an extent about Carolina. But if Andrei can take that next step, Carolina is in great shape. One more thing. And EJ Hradek brought this up about goaltending. It is important that Pyotr Kochetkov takes his next step, eliminates as much as you can the bad goal. He doesn't have to be spectacular. We just can't have the how did that go in type of a goal from him as we had too often. Because if he can support Freddie Anderson, if they can be a 1A, 1B tandem goaltending situation over the course of the year, and Kochetkov is banged up right now and will not start the season, it'll be Brandon Bussey backing up tonight. If Carolina's got two goaltenders that Rod Brind'Amour can rely upon, then maybe it allows him to give Freddie some time in the postseason because Freddie will wear down. Victoria, thank you very much. I'm Adam Gold. We'll see everybody on the radio coming up in a little bit.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It's not enough to just say it's Bill Belichick's first year. He wasn't supposed to win. The issue is other coaches in their first year have won around the country in many different situations, and they haven't been given all the resources that Bill Belichick has been given. The expectations are higher, but for a reason, and he's not living up to them.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help